It's the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our very special guest, Luke Stone. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm looking forward to chatting about some comics and stuff.
Fantastic. Good to have you. Yeah, this is your very first time on the channel. I'm glad to have you finally. Yeah. So, as is customary on my channel, I like to start by getting to know you a little better. So would you do the honors and share your quote unquote origin story? How did you grow up? What were you into? Whether it be comics, toys, movies, things like that. And what were the major milestones in your life and in your career that led you to eventually producing and releasing your own crowdfunded books?
Sure. Yeah, that's there's a lot of content there to unpack, but I'll try to do it quickly and as interestingly as possible. I started drawing, believe it or not, pretty young. I was about 3 years old. My mom and dad used to hang out at this little place called Breakfast House. It was a little diner where I grew up in Kokomo, Indiana, and they would stay out till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning hanging out with their friends. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, they had a toddler, right? Wise choices. But I would have to self-entertain while I was there. So what they used to do is my mom would throw me a napkin and a pen, and I would draw. I would just sit there and I'd start to doodle. Eventually, my doodles turned into stick figures. My stick figures, I started drawing clothes and stuff on. I just really got into it. And I remember when I was about 5 years old, I got really into He-Man, Masters of the Universe, that cartoon. I would wake up like clockwork at 5 a.m. to watch that when it came on for the first time.
5 a.m.?
Yeah, like I did not need an alarm clock. I was up to watch it. Like internal clock knew that there was He-Man coming on, so I was up, And so I really got into that. And one of my dad's friends at work, when I was about 5, 6 years old, knew that I was really into He-Man, and that I liked kind of that kind of stuff. And so he had gotten some comic books, and he handed them to my dad. My dad brought them home to me. One of those comics was issue 4 of Mike Zeck's run of the Secret Wars, and it was that cover where the Hulk is holding up this big massive boulder kind of earth thing where all these other heroes are getting ready to get crushed, but the Hulk is saving them. And that just gripped me, and I fell in love with comics. And so growing up in a little town, Kokomo, Indiana, there wasn't a whole lot of people that were into comics the way that I was. 1 or 2 people would be. And so I always wanted to draw comics. At 14 years old, I sent off some large pictures of some of the X-Men that I had drawn for Marvel. That was back when things were still pretty cool. They wound up sending them back to me. They said, "Thanks, we don't want to keep your original art. These are really good, but you need to keep working, keep practicing." Well, it got to the point to where I really want to express myself artistically, but a lot of people don't. They don't want to read the comics. They're not into comics. But I found out about music, so I started playing guitar when I was about 12 years old. And that kind of spiraled off into a different direction where I still was, every once in a while I would do comics and I would talk about comics and I'd try to draw them, write them, and those kind of things. But that music kind of set me off on a path where I wound up meeting my wife through it. It got me, I got pretty decent at it, so I did it semi-professionally. And then it was able to bring me into kind of ministry stuff where I wound up eventually down here in Florida. And when I got here, I was looking to start a band. And unfortunately, the music scene here in Jacksonville was nowhere near like it was in Kokomo, a much smaller town. But it was so difficult to try to find music. Most people were solo musicians or hip hop or this or that. And or they played metal, just stuff that wasn't really in my wheelhouse, things I was interested in. So I thought, maybe I'll start working on comics again. So I started drawing again, started writing a couple of things. And one day I got the news. It was 2014, and there were it was November of 2014. In our little friend group back home, we used to play role-playing games and talk comics and do video games and all that kind of stuff. And one of my friends, his name's Gary, his brother Jeremy, started working for IDW, had produced his own book, was working on some other IPs and stuff. So we kind of lived vicariously. One of us in the group made it. They started doing what they wanted to do. When I got word that he had gone to a convention and gotten some con crud and then gotten sick, and then he passed away.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he passed away, and he was just a few years older than me. Yeah. And it shook me, man. It like, I'm like, here's this guy who is doing what I always wanted to do, and he's young, and he's gone.
He contracted an illness from a convention he went to?
Yeah, he'd gotten sick at convention. It turned into some kind of pneumonia thing, and he wound up having it got worse. It just really, and he passed away.
Holy crap.
It was, so con crud is real. Like be careful, be careful. And that's even before COVID,
Wow.
And but man, it really shook me. And I was like, for a couple of days, I kept thinking, like, I can't believe that, Jeremy's gone. And, obviously it hit his brother harder. I was much closer friends with Gary than I was with Jeremy, but, still, it's part of our group.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking, I always wanted to do this, and I've been sitting on my hands, chasing music and things like that. And that always wound up, because you have to travel so much, it wound up causing a lot of trouble with my family. I wasn't able to be there when I needed to be there. There was always some kind of conflict. And so it was just, I was like, I'm going to make this comic thing happen. So I wrote. I wasn't much of a writer at the time, so I found somebody that could write for me, and we had a script, and I drew up the first 8 pages, and then we shot that thing around, and I got rejection. And so then I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to start my own publishing company. And so I got together with some other people that knew a lot more than I did. And so and some people that knew less than I did. And we all tried to do what we learned from some stuff, and that was in 2015. We started that company. And that's when, kind of my indie comics publishing thing got real serious, and started to write and to draw and to learn the craft and to put it out. And so in 2017 is when I released the first issue of Hybrids. It was kind of my secondary book. It was not the book that I was intending to release at all. This other book that I had shopped around, I thought was going to be the main thing that people would catch on to. And this was one of those stories where we needed in our little group, we needed something that had a little more action to it, And I had pitched the idea of kind of where, what this was, and everyone said, hey, let's do an issue of that. And so we did it. I did an issue of it, and it wound up selling better than the other book, and had more interest in the other book. So when that company closed, another company come along and said, hey, we'd like to publish this book for you. And it has just been trucking along ever since.
So you're already working with a publisher?
Yeah, I had been working with a publisher for a while. So we started our own publishing company called Tenacious Comics. That wound up not working out. I had to take some time away, and we let somebody else kind of take the reins for a minute. And he wound up really mismanaging funds for a couple of the creators, and so it wound up putting us in a spot where I couldn't really invest the time to recover from that, and so we just kind of dissolved. But then I got picked up by a publisher called Starcross Comics, and then actually I have been with them until this last spring, in 2020, at which point I left to start my own company again called Terraform Comics. And so I have 4 partners, with 5 including me, that we've started this little publishing venture that seems to be so far so good.
Wow, holy cow. So, damn. What was the other project that you guys put on the back burner, and do you plan on bringing it back later?
Yeah, so the project I was working on was this comic called Worst Day Ever. It's what I call a romantic zombie comedy. It is set in a post-apocalyptic world, but there's 2 types of zombies. There are the slackjaws and the ragers, and the slackjaws keep going to work every day and doing the same stuff that they do, and the Ragers actually try to eat people. But the world has not stopped. There's still business. And so this one guy, Charlie, he actually has to go to work every day. He's a sign boy, and he dresses as a hot dog. And so the idea was, I was driving down the road with my friend, and it was a hot day outside. It was about 92 degrees. And this was when I was still back in Indiana. Here in Florida, 92 is not odd, but there, 92 is pretty hot. And so we were driving down the road, and I saw this guy dressed up as a cell phone being a sign boy out on the side of the road. I'm like, gosh, man, that'd be the worst day ever, having to go to work dressed like that.
Right.
And then like this funny little phrase caught, like, no, the worst day ever would be going to work dressed as a hot dog during the zombie apocalypse. That would be the worst day ever. And so that kind of sparked that idea. And so I did work with a writer named Wesley Schomer, an amazing writer. He turned that little idea. I had 2 or 3 blogs written, short blogs, and he turned it into this big, massive 12-issue series. Well, we have not been able to get the 12-issue series picked up. It's a lot to try to sell someone on that concept. And so I'm going back this year, and I'm rewriting those blogs, and I'm going to do 8-page segments of that story until I get to about 40 pages. And I'm going to be releasing them through a thing that we have called the Continuum through Terraform Comics, where it's almost kind of like a Shogun Run thing, where you've got a whole bunch of stories that are told in sequence with each other over a number of books. So that's kind of how we do that. Kind of like an anthology on, kind of ramped up on steroids.
Okay. All right. But hybrids was an idea that you noticed was getting a lot of traction.
Yeah, it was. So we, with the Tenacious Comics, we decided that we needed some kind of we didn't have any superhero books, or any action, like adventure, sci-fi, stuff like that. We had some other stuff that kind of fit in that mold, but nobody with superpowers. And, it's hard to have a small publishing company without having somebody with superpowers. Mm-hmm. So I had this idea that had been in development for a while. I had been talking with an old pastor friend of mine, and we would always bring up like some of these weird facts about scripture or history. One of the things we always talked about was in Genesis chapter 6, how these angels or sons of God would see the daughters of men, and they liked what they saw. And so what they did was they had babies with them. And these creatures were called the Nephilim. And one of the things we learned was that they actually predated the Greek gods by about 1,500 years or 15,000 years. And no, 1,500 years, I'm sorry. My number dyslexia is hitting me. But so people actually think that the Nephilim was the inspiration for the Greek gods. And so this whole idea that these Nephilim creatures could continue to have children, and maybe that angelic DNA that is in them just kind of got watered down over the centuries, and that there's a recessive trait inside of people, like the whole 23andMe, where there's, you find out what percentage DNA you are this or that. What if you could have some angelic DNA in you? And what if something happened, some massive world event took place that caused that DNA to wake up, and those recessive traits became dominant traits all of a sudden? And so people would develop these godlike abilities, similar to the Greek gods and things like that. And so that's exactly what I pitched. I said, what if, this is the idea I've been working on, but there's somebody that's abducting all of the people that get the powers. That was the whole idea. That it's not just about people getting powers, but it's about this other, like, really sinister thing that's taking place. And they all seem to really like the idea. And they said, yeah, write it and draw it. And so I'd never written a script by myself before. So this was my first attempt on issue 1, was, kind of what happened there. And I didn't think anybody but maybe some theology nerds or like ancient alien nerds or somebody like that would really enjoy it, because that's what I got into. But what we wound up finding out, that we had better response from that than the zombie book, than the Worst Day Ever book. And so I was forced to get into a second issue. And so we started doing the second issue. I had this real, like, grandiose idea of how many issues I wanted to release, which I'm about halfway there now. So, but yeah, it just kind of formulated to the thing. And then when that company closed, the one title that the other people were interested in was the hybrids book. And so it got picked up and, continued to be published.
Wow. That's interesting. Welcome, Phoenix Animation. Hey, WyzGyz and
What's up,
Luke.
man?
How are you?
Doing fine, man. How about you?
Yep, doing good, doing good. Hope you're well, Phoenix Animation. Presently, so you've got a company now. What is it called again? Your publishing house?
Terraform Comics.
Terraform Comics. So you're actually, do you guys actually have the facilities to print off books and everything too?
Well, no, we don't actually do the printing. We do all of the other kind of studio work together, and it's we do have access to printers that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are based here in Florida. So 3 of the 5 of us are here in Florida, and so
Okay.
we have a printer that's down here that we work with. I do have another printer up in New York that I work with, but we're also looking to include some newsprint work for some of our titles, so that we can have kind of what an alternate does with the kind of low cost entertainment. I don't like to call it throwaway entertainment because it's somebody's worked hard on it and it has value to us, but we want to be able to get content into people's hands at a lower price because we're all feeling the struggle financially right now.
Right.
And so we're actually looking at newsprint printers that are here right here in Jacksonville. So people in our own backyard to partner with to make comics with that way. So yeah, so we work with printers and things like that. We've got the connections. But yeah, that's is we help develop young talent, help them kind of learn the ropes of publishing, working with a team. We offer editorial stuff and all that good stuff, all the stuff a publisher does.
So besides the worst day ever title and hybrids, do you guys all already have a bunch of other titles going on at the same time?
We have things that are working out. So Terraform started not long ago, actually. It was we started during the pandemic, and we had some other titles that we were going to do, and we were going to wind up focusing on pre-existing IPs that the creators brought in, but we decided to kind of go a different direction with that and start to develop new IPs. So we have 3 or 4 original intellectual properties that are being developed for Terraform Comics, as well as we're working with young creators to help develop their stuff to be released through Terraform Comics. And so we're doing this thing called the Continuum. And what it originally started out to be, I used to call it the 3x3. So basically the idea would be like I would have a 24-page book, you'd have a 24-page book, and then somebody else would have a 24-page book. And instead of trying to release that 24-page book to a crowd, to an audience, and get it all done, and then all that kind of stuff, what I do is we take 8 pages from mine, from yours, and from that other person's, and we put those 8 pages, which is easier for me to get 8 pages done than it is 24 pages. And so we put all those together into one book, and then I sell it, you sell it, and they sell it. And when we crowdfund it, we're funneling all of our audience there. So in essence, your audience gets to see my book and the other guy's book, and vice versa. So then my audience gets introduced to your work and their work. And so we're showing people that are into comics and indie comics get a chance to look at more content at a faster pace, because then we can release these monthly or bi-monthly. Because now, instead of me trying to do 24 pages on my limited budget and my limited time, because most of us still have to try to make ends meet when we're independent comic creators, now we're able to do it in chunks. And so we kind of took that idea and then we just went to the next level with it, where you would get this kind of 8-page chunks that would be spread out over 3 issues. That's why it was called a 3x3. It would be 3 books put into 3 different issues, that tell the story. But then we decided, we can do a whole lot more with that. And so what came of it was the Continuum, and that will actually release. We'll have a Kickstarter running for that in just about a week. We launch our first one, so we're pretty excited about it.
Oh, wow. You got a lot of balls in the air.
A whole lot, yeah.
So, all right, I think I'm confused. So you're, with that 3x3, you've got 3 unique IPs. 8 pages of each of those IPs kind of bundled into a single book, like a graphic novel or whatever. Or
yes.
Actually, you can fit it all into a floppy, 24-page floppy.
Yeah, we're actually doing 32-page floppies, and so that's kind of how that's working. So, and we've expanded beyond just having 3 ideas in there. So some people have written 4-page story, and they've got a 5-page that's coming up next, and so they connect, they continue, but that's why it's called the continuum. But so we fill an issue with the stories that are ready, the creators that have been able to get their things together. And then the next issue that comes out will have the continuation of some of those stories. If somebody is not able to, because of family issues or something like that, and we see that happen all the time with creators that are not able to produce their next issue or something like that, or to finish their issue. A lot of times people will crowdfund these things and they won't be able to finish them because something will happen. And so we're trying to take that away. We're trying to take that variable out, so that we can continue to release these things. And so if somebody can't get their story in there, we just swap somebody else's story in. And so maybe another story will start in the second issue and things like that. So yeah, so it allows, it's kind of like this buffet of entertainment that you can absorb.
Well, that's interesting. So like on the cover of it, do you go break it up into thirds and go 3 stories in one? And then you've got the titles for each of the 3.
Yeah, we're working on just exactly how we want to do that right now on the cover. We're also working on variant covers where each story might have their own cover for it, and they sell these books. But ultimately, what we hope to happen is as a story finishes up in the continuum, then we will launch it as a standalone book. So we'll take all those pages and compile them together and then release it again as just that one book. So it's not always just going to be in the continuum, but that's how we introduce it into new audiences. And so the idea is that we'll have the collector's version of the continuum that we crowdfund, and then we'll have the mass, like the larger quantity, and hopefully that one will be on newsprint so we can get it into more people's hands at a lower cost. And introduce more people to these great creators and their stories and the things that they're trying to do.
Well, that's an interesting concept. Phoenix Animation says, good, man. Congrats on all the success with hybrids.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been working hard. This campaign that I'm currently running is for part 1 of The Killing Field, which is the second part of a 3-part arc. Okay, so there's going to be 3 total volumes to this story that I'm telling. So volume 1 was Trash Day. It was 5 individual issues that we compiled into one trade paperback, volume 1. And then this is part 1 of 4 for The Killing Field. And so issue 1 is complete. I say it's completely done. We just found out today that there's a couple of typos that we have to fix in the lettering, and so the letter will hopefully tomorrow it will be completely finished. We just swap out the couple pages that need to be fixed and sent to printer. So that one's done, and we've already started art on part 2, and so that one's actually going to be a 32-page book of story, 32 pages of story. So a total of 40 pages self-cover. It's going to be massive, and this arc is only going to be 4 issues, and so we're already planning on that, and that should be done. Hopefully, we'll be able to have the 4th issue launched by September, is my plan. And then we can run the trade paperback before the end of the year for that one as well. So that's kind of our hope with that as well. So, yeah.
So, Hybrids: The Killing Fields Part 1 is comprised of 2 issues.
No, that's just 1 issue. Part 1. It's part 1 of 4. There's going to be 4 issues. Yeah. The second issue is being worked on, and we'll release in as this one is being fulfilled, we'll start the campaign for the other one.
Okay.
Because this is ready to go to print. We're just waiting on knowing how many copies we need to make.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
It's that's wise to have the entire book, in fact, done prior to launch. Let me see. So we're off air looking at some of your previous projects. So you guys have experience fulfilling already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the group I've been with, between the books that I've done on Kickstarter and that we've kind of worked together with, and I also do a book called Voodoo Nations with writer Travis Gibb. Those books, out of all the books that I've been a part of and that we've been able to do, we've funded and fulfilled more than 25 campaigns. So,
holy crap! I mean, these are just the ones that are under your name that you.
Those are just the ones under my name on Indiegogo. I recently moved over to Indiegogo as kind of my main platform for crowdfunding. Before that, it would be once something wrapped up over on Kickstarter, I would run a quick, just something short on Indiegogo to put it in demand. But I found out that it's much easier just to run the campaign on Indiegogo and go to in demand. So.
What was the main reason for switching from Kickstarter to Indiegogo? Just the ease of going from your main funding campaign into an in-demand online store?
Yeah, there was that. There's also the secret perks, which is a feature that I really love, but is not available on Kickstarter. I try to do a lot for retailers. I like to offer a pretty steep discount, anywhere between 45 to 55, maybe sometimes even 60% discount to the retailers.
Wow.
if we can do it. And one of the problems that we would run into is I would always have like that retailer perk, and I would have just random people buy 5 copies at the retail discount, and that's not what that was there for. It wasn't for just, regular consumers. It was for the brick and mortars so that we could partner with them and they could make a profit. And so we were not able to do that honestly with Kickstarter. They also didn't have the add-on perks, which is something that, which they've since added, but they didn't have those for a long time. And so because of those two reasons, that and the in-demand feature, it just made sense to go over there. And in October, I think it was September. Yeah, in September of last year, I officially planted my flag in the Comicsgate camp. And so I knew in doing that a lot of the backers that I currently had that were Comicsgate folks would stick to Indiegogo. And a lot of the people who were, kind of independent in their thinking with that would easily go over to Indiegogo. But I knew anyone that was like seriously anti-CG that had been backing my stuff in the past, they weren't going to back me no matter what. And they are strictly Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So I did run for the trade paperback. I ran both, and I did them simultaneously for a few weeks. And it was just overwhelming, the support over on Indiegogo. The majority, all but 15 of my backers came from Indiegogo. So 15 backers stayed over on Kickstarter. But all of the rest of the 130 so backers that I had prior to that last campaign on Kickstarter all moved over. Like they all moved over to Indiegogo. So it just made sense to make that my main platform for this anyway. Now we're, there's other things that we're going to do with Terraform Comics that, because they're not all Comicsgate. I'm just the, I'm kind of the one Comicsgate in that group over there.
Oh.
But we're all obviously they're all Comicsgate friendly, right?
Mm.
I'm one of the owners, so. Yeah. But so we'll launch a lot of stuff on Kickstarter over there because we have a huge mailing list of people over there. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people from running. I mean, we've been running campaigns. I've been running campaigns over there since 2015. So
right. So you have a following.
Yeah, we have quite a following to use. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense to maintain that. Because, I mean, you don't want to cut them off completely, but yeah, at the same time, there is kind of I don't know if you really call it a schism, but there are some who are loyal to Indiegogo and others who are loyal to Kickstarter. And
very true.
There seems to be a very small overlap.
Yeah.
I'm the type who, since I declare myself CG, I try and support CG friendly only, but I try and support CG friendly as well. But I'm debating internally whether to go CG only exclusively.
Yeah. There's so many good creators out there, and some that want to plant a flag and some that don't, that, I find it hard to work, I don't want to isolate myself from working with good creators. Like, so
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm obviously on Comicsgate. I believe in the tenets there. I understand that, a lot of what these people try to say, the SJW tries to say what Comicsgate isn't true.
Right.
And my whole idea about going Comicsgate publicly with people was to show that the majority of the people that you're going to find in the CG camp are going to be people like me, creators like me. And I work with like Travis. He's not in that camp at all. Like he's kind of a self-proclaimed SJW a little bit, and but we work together because he's a good writer. I think I'm a good artist. So we work together on a book and we make a really good book together. Just like the old days, I have a feeling that some of these guys that started making Marvel the way that it was, and these guys working in the early days, they probably didn't agree on everything, but it didn't matter their politics or their religious views or any of that stuff. What mattered was making a really awesome comic book that people were going to enjoy. And I think we've lost track of that somewhere along the way.
Yeah, exactly. So because I align myself so strongly with Comicsgate, I also, in turn, try and back and support fellow creators as well as back the books on Indiegogo. There is an occasion where I'll come across a campaign on Kickstarter that strikes my interest, and I have backed like 2 or 3 projects on Kickstarter, but the vast majority of my backings are on Indiegogo. As far as creators go, I think they should do whatever the heck works for them, and go for the money, because you need the money to sustain the business. It's just one of those things. Let me see here. Yeah. Did your screen freeze? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, all right.
I'm like Drax. I'm sitting very still.
I was going to say, you're not really here, are you? So your previous campaign, Hybrids, Sons of Gods, the complete first art, that was a compilation of your first 6 issues?
It was 5 issues, and then the 6th issue was a mini, like kind of a backup story that I wrote as a just kind of a companion to one of the characters that you meet in the 5th issue, and it was only available through the crowdfunding. We never released that. It's not something that I really sell at the trade shows or anything like that. So that was that one, and then that was ran earlier in 2020, and we did really good. We had very good. It was done in March, and it went really, really well. And but it was primarily on Kickstarter, and then the Indiegogo was just a cleanup over there. And I still made, about, I can't remember exactly how much, but it was, a little over $1,000 that we made on that one. So I was on Indiegogo. So it was very good for us, for me, and the people that I hired to help make this book with me.
So was Hybrids separate individual floppy issues, while Hybrids, the Son of God's Trash Day, was a full-on graphic novel compiling the 5 issues plus the follow-up story?
Yeah, exactly. So, but not only that, we did a 4-page kind of post-credit scene that got thrown in there as well. And then I had a bunch of creators do some backup stories for me. And so we wound up taking, those 5 comics, 6, if you add the other one, would have been 112 pages, I think. And we made this 140-page graphic novel. So we had started out, it was going to be 128, but we hit a stretch goal to where we were able to go ahead and add the extra pages. It wasn't my original initial stretch goal, I thought, but we were able to work it in anyway because I wanted other people to get these extra pages. So.
Oh, you got Keaton White on it too.
Yep.
Brian Dawson, Holofoil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could still get the floppies through there. The big difference between that and the campaign before it was that the books were branded with Starcross, the old publisher that I was with, and everything from this one was branded with Terraform Comics. So it was kind of the rebrand of the book and everything. So it worked out really well for us. And it's still on in demand. And in fact, I just shipped out books today from it.
Nice.
So people will back that, and they go out right away. So
it's cool that you have them available still. I was about to ask if the current hybrids campaign actually gives you an opportunity to take it, play catch up and get the first 5 issues.
Yeah, we have done that. For if anybody wants the floppies, they have to go to the Trash Day graphic novel. They have to go to that campaign to get the floppies now for the first 5. But I do have on the new campaign, I have 2 tiers where you can catch up with the old story. You get the trade paperback plus issue 6, part 1 of The Killing Field, and you can get that in either the standard covers or in the variant covers that features the Kanan White cover on the trade and the Nitho Diaz cover on the new book. So.
Gross Comics. So do you still own the Starcross Comics imprint?
Oh, no, that actually belongs to Joe Spicer. He's the guy that owns that one. We're still on good terms. Joe actually drew my my chibi he does my chibi stickers for the new campaign. He does an amazing job, or maybe it's chibi. I don't know. I'm not, I'm 40 years old and I don't know anything. I'm not cool.
Come on now. Come on, man.
It's one of those two, but it was, it's pretty good. His art is really, he does a really good job on those things, and so he does all of my stickers there. And so we're actually working on a team up with him, with one of his characters that I'm drawing kind of in between these other books. So he's gonna release that book this year. It's a Trash Man and Starstruck crossover.
Okay.
I've got like 12 books coming out this year. Like I'm drawing like I'm dying is basically my plan for this year.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Welcome, Belzette. What's up? Bouncing back and forth everywhere. Lol. Are there a lot of people streaming tonight? Oh, man. Oh, and Jack shows tonight, too, but they usually don't start till later. To hell with Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's not been my favorite. One of the other things I don't like about Kickstarter is the fact that they don't take your money right away.
Oh, man, I hate that.
So they wait till the end, and what happens is, I've had $300-400 in dropped pledges, and when your campaign comes down to like you've made stretch goals based on that money, and so you've made a promise to the backers, and if that money doesn't come in, you have to do it. And so I've gone a little negative on a couple of campaigns because of that, which I've never had that problem with Indiegogo because it takes your money right away. So we know exactly how much money we're going to get when that campaign ends. But then with the in-demand, you get a little extra as you go,
Mm-hmm.
So over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've been able to raise another $300 on the Trash Day graphic novel.
Uh-huh.
And so that money is going right back into helping with production for issue 7. Because the idea is that if we can get enough to speed up that production to make sure the issue is ready within the next month or 2, is really what I want to do, is have all the art and lettering finished so that we can get that. Again, when we start the campaign, the book is finished.
Yeah. I don't like that about Kickstarter either. And I don't know if I'm misunderstanding, but there's also something about not getting charged for shipping until you're ready to fulfill or at the end of the campaign.
That is something new that they're doing. Yes, they're using they're not charging you shipping, and then at the end, when they send out the surveys, they're using a third-party website to send out surveys, and then at that point they charge you shipping.
Oh man,
I don't like that either.
That's strange. Okay. All right. So, all right. Let's suppose I'm interested in Hybrids Killing Field Part 2, but I want all the content from the previous, 6 issues?
Yeah.
When all said and done. The graphic novel contains, correct me if I'm wrong, all the content from the original complete first arc, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It contains all of that and then some extras. So it actually has extra content than what you can get on the floppies.
Will I be able to get the contents of the graphic novel, the 6 issues plus all the extras, through the most recent campaign, Hybrid?
Yes, yes, you can also do that. If you click on that campaign, about halfway down, there's going to be 2 different catch-up tiers.
All right.
Oh, I've got another backer.
Sweet.
Nice.
Huzzah.
Was it 50, I think, before this, just a little bit ago. So yeah, if you go down there, you can see we have...
Oh, variant catch-up. Is that... Oh, hold on. Sounds like you're roboting.
Oh, yep. Am I back?
You are now.
Hold on a second. I'm good now?
Yes.
Am I still... Okay. I was afraid I was still roboting. But yeah, you can get the trade paperback in either the standard cover with the standard cover trade with the standard cover floppy for part 1 of The Killing Field, or you can get the variant cover, which you get the Kanan White cover and the Nitho Diaz cover for the floppy.
Wait, where's the other? Hold on, shoot, where did it
back up?
So you got the variant catch-up with trade paperback TPB.
Yep.
And then
one more.
Oh, standard catch-up.
Yep.
With trade paperback. Shoot. So sorry. What's the difference between those 2 catch-ups?
The covers.
Covers,
yeah.
This has a variant.
Yeah. So you get the standard catch-up or the variant catch-up.
Huh. Okay. Depending on what cover you prefer. And I'm presuming there's another version, another tier where you can get both cover of the paperback plus.
No, we didn't put that in there. I kind of surveyed some people, and there wasn't a lot of interest in that.
Oh, okay.
So there's actually a 3rd cover that's in the other campaign, and if people want all of those covers, I've had a couple of them go get those special covers. There's a holofoil cover that I didn't include in this campaign.
Oh.
So we wanted to give people the option of being able to catch up with the thing with one tier to back, one thing to back here. But some people have decided they want to go over there and get those extra covers too. So.
Shoot, where was it again? Standard catch-up with trade paperback. 30.
Yeah, and what that does, that we were doing the standard trade paperback for $25, and so that's 140 pages at $25 for that. And this issue is a $7 issue, but we're dropping the price there to $5, so it would be a total of $30 for the catch-up. So you get a bonus for that. And same goes for the variant cover with it was a much more limited run. For the Kanan White cover, and so that was a $40 issue, and then we're adding $5 for the comic, which the variant cover is a $10 issue. So you're actually saving, a lot more. So you're saving $5 instead of $2, $3.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, so it's slightly higher because of the
limited number of copies.
All right. Okay. Curiouser and curiouser. All right. Let's check out the trailer here.
Sure.
A group of heroes supercharged with Nephilim DNA are the only thing standing in the way of an evil corporation at the center of a human trafficking ring and elite drug empire. The danger ramps up when a deadly trap is set for our protagonist. It's an epic clash of good versus evil when they meet on the killing field. Be sure to check out the action and get part 1 of The Killing Field during this 28-day event exclusively on Indiegogo.
Short and sweet, to the point.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I did do is I did include down in the body where, if people, get to this point and they want to know more about it, I have 2 videos, how we started and where we are now, And
Oh, cool.
so, yeah, so you can actually watch videos so that you don't have to read through all that stuff. And so I tried to make sure everything is in there. So if a first-time reader comes in, now you could start with part 1 of The Killing Field and not read the first 5 issues. It wouldn't be a big deal. It kind of catches you up a little bit, but it does reference things back that happened in there, but it's little footnotes on what we're talking about. And so it's definitely a more engaging read if you know what happened, but you can just start with part 1 of The Killing Field and be fine.
Okay. So it's almost like self-contained adventure.
A little bit, yeah. We build on what happened before, but it's not detrimental that you know all of those things, because we do. It's kind of like when you would pick up an old comic book and something happened, 10 issues ago and you didn't know about it. Put it in like a little note, like, this is what we're talking about. We're referencing this. If you want, you can go back to this issue and look at it.
Right, yeah.
And so we do that with a couple places in the book so that it's not, like insider information that you don't have to have. And so there's a little bit of the redundancy and explanation a little bit, but it's so that it's self-contained for readers that pick this up. And this, because I'm a firm believer that every comic book that someone picks up it's going to be somebody's first comic book, And so you need to treat every book that you make like that. It's somebody's first. And so I just wanted to, but we do have where you can get caught up with that. You can understand where we're at, where we're going,
Are they both pretty short?
They're a little longer, the first video is 4 minutes and then the second video is like a minute and a half. So
Okay.
yeah, the minute and a half video definitely shows you kind of like what's happening in the killing field.
All right, let's check out this one. If anyone's interested, be sure and check out the first video. It's about 4 minutes. Oh, hold on.
It has been 6 months since our heroes entered the belly of the beast known as the Hybrid Engineering Corporation. Life has changed a lot for Rev and his team as they grasp the reality of their new lives. Their attempts at a normal life, however, are met with grave resistance. In The Killing Field Part 1, our protagonists discover that human trafficking and genetic experimentation are only a small part of the larger global threat presented by Azazel and his partners. A series of successful battles cause our heroes to let their guard down. The stakes get higher as we learn the Game Master was always in control, and a deadly trap is laid. Things will never be the same when we face off on the killing field. The Killing Field Part 1 is a 28-page, full-color, standard-sized comic book. All first-day backers will receive a free print. There will be a variety of covers and contribution levels. We also have a special story from writer Raj Mahan and artist Jim O'Reilly. The campaign will only be live for 28 days. There will be no extensions. International shipping will be offered, and all international packages will include a special bonus. We will have special catch-up tiers, as well as new trading cards, stickers, and prints. Books will ship in Gemini mailers no later than April 2021.
Whoa. So, all right, let's see. Did I hear right? It's a 28-day funding campaign?
Yep, 28 days. We are not going to extend it at all. We were very fortunate. We funded in the first day, but we are very close. We're less than $400 away. In fact, to be specific, we're $379 away from hitting our first stretch goal. So the first stretch goal is going to help me put a good solid deposit down on colors for the part 2. And with doing that, everyone will get a iron-on embroidered patch. So if we hit the $2,000, that's our first stretch goal.
Okay. So when you lay out your fixed goals on these crowdfunded campaigns, you're factoring in cost of shipping, cost of printing,
yeah,
and cost of manufacture. Not to mention well, are you basically jack of all trades? It sounds like you do story. You're also an artist.
yeah. But I do pay a colorist and a letterer and an editor. And sometimes I pay a layout artist to help me out a little bit, to help speed up the process a bit. So though I can do everything, I don't do everything. I like working with the team a lot. And so we're actually in a cycle now to where part of this book was actually paid for by the trade paperback. So some of the money we made off of that actually went over to make this issue, which is why we're able to make the turnaround so fast. And so the goal that we had set of 1,200 is just to take care of printing and shipping. So everything else that was needed, like that is what, for the number of copies that we need, that's what it was going to cost us. And so that was already worked in. And so the next stretch goal, if we can get from the 1,200 to the 2,000, that's my coloring for the next issue. And so that also includes, it's my coloring plus how much it would be to get some patches made for everybody. So that's why that goal is set to where it's at. And then we have the next goal beyond that, and then we have another goal beyond that, and then there's a fourth goal. But being such a short campaign, I'm not even sure that we're going to get there. It would be nice if we would, but right now, I like to take things in chunks, and we're $379 away from being able to pay for the colors for the next book. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, initially I was thinking, since your publishing house already is so deep into the game and has had so many successfully funded campaigns for all your various titles, while you're still doing the crowdfunded thing, but it obviously has helped. Well, actually, your earliest campaigns, if I heard right, they were kind of in the negative because of the way Kickstarter works.
Yeah.
But then as you've gotten more and more successful campaigns and through word of mouth and building your audience, you've also started to get more and more past the break-even point into profitability.
We are definitely into profitability now. And like I said, now each issue that I do is helping pay for the next issue beyond it. So that's how we work these. So a title has to be able to sustain itself. And we understand, like, early on, the first few issues aren't going to sustain themselves. But Terraform's fairly young, so we're working on establishing those. That's why we chose the Continuum as our way to establish those first issues and the beginning of those stories, to launch those. That way, when they do have their second issue that's a standalone, they'll have some legs, and they'll have some stability, and they'll have content to prove their ability as a creator, and to be able to to hopefully speed up the process of the profitability. So it won't take them 5 issues like it did me.
Yeah. I think it's relatively common still in crowdfunded books, like if you're a new creator and nobody knows your name, to not make a profit till the 3rd or 4th book at least.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're either on track or maybe even a little bit ahead of where a lot of creators are these days. So that's really impressive. Welcome, Frog G. Hail all.
What's up? Hail.
Thanks for dropping links. Reclaiming Zandara Judgment Day has come.
That looks like it's going to be a neat book.
What was that?
So that looks like it's going to be a neat book.
Yeah, it does. Hybrid's looking good. Only 24 days left, and that black cover is so good looking.
Yeah, that's a super limited cover. So I'm only doing 100 of those for the campaign. And then, like, we will eventually probably do a something for conventions where we have a second printing of it, but it's going to say second printing in there, and it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to change some of the extra pages because it has to be a thicker book to do with this black cover. So we're going to change some of those things in there, but there's only about 75 of those left. It'd be neat to see those all be accounted for.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a 28-day funding campaign. Is it even going to go in demand, or are you just going to cut it off right now?
No, it'll go in demand. So, but we'll turn off a lot of the different, some of the other tiers. And so basically what you'll be able to get is just the books, like probably cover A and cover B.
Right.
You'll be able to get cover C. We won't have available after it goes in demand.
Right.
And then anything that includes a sticker, you won't have either. So, so we're turning all of that stuff off. And so it'll just be, if you want to get the issue, you can get the issue, kind of like selling from a website or something. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of in demand. You can treat it like an online store.
Exactly. And that's definitely what I'm doing.
I had it back this first day.
I saw that and I appreciate it very, very much.
That's sweet. Yeah. So Frog G's getting an exclusive print, right?
Yeah, and not only is he getting that exclusive print, what's happened is since we funded in the first day, I decided to make that exclusive print a holofoil. So it's going to be really cool. Yeah. So we're getting a really cool metallic, like on this. There's a lot of different metallic papers. I use this one printer that does a really good job with those things. And he has just this tremendous paper selection. And I'm like, oh, that looks so good. And so we're going to get a few samples to see which paper that looks the best on. And then that'll be the one that we go for. And everyone will get that really sweet.
Like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Holy holofoils, Batman. Welcome, Justin Dutton. Sup?
What's up, Dragon?
What's up?
Dragon's my boy.
I Borrow Ideas may have been one of the first backers. Right on. Sweet. Definitely a good looking book. And the continuation of the saga.
It's been a lot of fun putting together.
So the first day print, all first day backers got this print for free.
Yep.
Don't worry, if you miss it, you can get it as an add-on.
Yep.
So that as an add-on, it'll be the regular version, the regular original version of Chlorine, right?
Yeah, it'll be the original version. Unless I get real generous, then I'll go ahead and make it a it depends on how much money we have to play with at the end of it. Yeah, but all the first day backers are going to get holofoil. Yeah,
sweet.
As a big fat thank you for jumping out like right away. Like we had, we launched at 12:01 Eastern time, which is some people are like, well, that's a crazy time to launch. Well, I advertise it's going to run for 28 days from 12:01 on the 1st till midnight on the 28th, and we had 6 people right out of the gate just jump on, and it was awesome.
How did you do your launch, or like whose channel did you go on when you launched?
I didn't go on anybody's channel when I launched. I spent my day Monday going on a lot of different shows and doing a lot of different things, and so throughout that first day, I did a few of them, but I didn't do the big like, hey, we're launching. I sent out emails leading up to it. I did a lot of posts on Twitter and Facebook and Minds. I let people know that it was taking place, and then and then it launched, and then I sent out an email right when it did that said, hey, we're live. Here's the link to the secret perk for all the mailing lists, because there's a mailing list perk that no one looking at the campaign can see, that gets them a lot of extras and stuff like that. So
do you guys make use of the Indiegogo pre-launch page where you put up your email list as well?
Yeah, I did that for about 2-3 weeks. Yeah, I feel like 2 or 3 weeks is a good amount of time to do that. Some people go months with that. But I like to keep fresh in people's minds, and I like to move quick with those things. So for me, I think 2 or 3 weeks I think is enough time for me to gather. And I've still got everybody else's email that signed up for the books before, so they've all, so I send out them to let them know that, hey, this is getting ready to launch. So they don't necessarily have to sign up for that email if they don't really want to, so that list is always growing. And so I utilize that so that they automatically get that mailing list perk. that I offer for every book.
Does it sometimes on the back end become a pain in the rear trying to manage all those email addresses and keep, because I'm guessing that it puts it in it presents you with an exportable Excel file or something, or maybe it's an Access database, or
yeah, it's a CSV file, so like a spreadsheet, but it's really easy. I just pop it into my mailing list software, and I tag it. I tag if they're an Indiegogo, and so they get an Indiegogo tag. And if if they're a backer, then they get a backer tag. So like if someone, so someone backed the last book, but maybe they didn't sign up for the email, then I put them in as a backer. And so then I let those people, the Indiegogo and the backer people, know that something's coming. Like, hey, you backed the last book, the next thing is coming out here. Check it out.
Okay, all right. I was afraid it might become a logistical nightmare.
It probably can if you're not very organized, but I've been doing this for a minute, so I've made a lot of my mistakes already when it comes to stuff like that, and so I've gotten pretty good at trying to keep it all straight now.
Good deal. Good deal. Then we've got the trading card. Every physical backer receives this perk. Nice. Hybrids Villains. Soul Sucker.
Yep. He is a character that is in the kind of post-credit scene from the trade paperback, and he makes a larger appearance in this next arc. He is only there kind of a cameo in part 1, but by the time we get to part 3, he's raising heck.
By the way, it's okay for you to say hell on this channel. Cover A, 28 pages of content. Backup story by, does that say Rog?
Raj. Yeah, it's R-O-G. Raj Mahan.
Raj. Oh,
yeah.
Interesting spelling. Raj Mahan and Jim O'Reilly.
Yeah, Raj is fairly new to comics. He's been doing a couple things. He's got a book called Mojo Rising, really good. And then he's done a couple other things. Jim O'Reilly's been around a little bit. I think a lot of people are familiar with his stuff. So absolutely fantastic work those two did.
Nice. Cover B by Netho Diaz.
Yeah, yep. Netho or Netho, I'm not quite sure how he pronounces it, but yeah. He has drawn G.I. Joe. He's done a great job of being the artist over there, and a few other things that he's done, but yeah.
Right on. I used to collect G.I. Joe. So this black cover.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this work exactly? Is it something more than solid black paper with what is it, like a negative?
It is a solid black paper with kind of a matte finish.
A matte?
And it is printed with a clear toner, so it is a gloss black where the art is.
Whoa, that's a trip.
Yeah, and it's really, really cool. And so
that looks nice. Does it feel like that? What is it called? Is it like soft touch, almost like a feeling of satin or felt?
I haven't. No, it's. No, I don't believe that it does. They didn't tell me that at the printer. It is. It's just like a. It's just. It does have a matte texture to it, but it's not like that felt.
Okay.
That felt feeling. Yeah.
But dang, that is so cool. So it's black on the backside too?
Yep.
And what's the imagery on the back? Or is it
it's going to have our big terraform T circle in there, so it's going to look cool. But
all right.
Yeah. But so that book is actually more pages because it will have 32 total pages on the inside and then the cover on the outside. So there will be a signing page with like the Hybrids logo at the top, and it'll be kind of the page where I'll do like a remark or something, and I can do a little sketch and a signature, and then it has kind of all the other stuff that's in there, and yeah.
Wow.
So much thicker book, very robust.
And you had to add the extra pages because of this special cover?
Yeah, because I can't do the credits on the inside.
Oh.
It's black. It's completely black. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to read the credits. They'd all have to be in gloss, and it'd be really hard to see. So.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it would be. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
People would be holding it up against the light.
Like, what is that? How's that? Who wrote this again? Yeah. Especially down with like the at the bottom, we have all the legal stuff. They're like, oh, copyright when?
Backup story by Raj. How do you pronounce it again? Mahan?
Mahan, yeah.
And Jim O'Reilly. That's a backup story. In interiors. So full color interiors. Red cape.
Yep, that's a scene where you learn about the red cape. I don't want to offer any
that's
spoilers.
the character name. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the scene. That's what's happening. You know, you learn about this thing called the red cape.
Oh, okay. Page samples. A lot of action, I see. That's cool.
Yeah, I tried to cram it full this one. Not as full as the next one. The next one is just, I mean, it keeps ramping up. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Our big last battle is actually going to have to get cut over 2 issues. So it's.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be, ridiculous.
And there's a moment of peace.
Yeah.
Before the heavy action begins.
Before, yeah. There's very little calm before the storm when it comes to this series, to this particular arc.
The game master is always in control. A little late for company.
There's that chibi sticker or chibi sticker. Yeah.
I may be wrong, but I think it's chibi.
I think it's chibi too. I think that's what my daughter calls it. But yeah, he's an angry little baby. Look at him.
Rascal chibi sticker.
Yeah.
And I presume it's like die cut, so the border is the shape of it.
Yeah, we've done die cut stickers we've got 4 of them to date. We've done 4 of them, and this will be our 5th one. And so I hope to release one with each of the books from here on out, releasing a new sticker. Nice.
I like stickers. So the standard catch-up, which is this book, and the book we're promoting now, The Killing Field, Part 1.
Then you could also get it as the Kane White cover and the Nitho Diaz cover. So those covers, both of those artists just did a tremendous job on those.
Yeah, seriously.
Worth every penny.
Good stuff. I was going to ask about this, the dad pack.
Yeah. So I love hats and things like that, and so I have a trucker hat that I'll sometimes wear. So I have the trucker hat, and this came out with the last. This is I've done this on our website, and this came out with the last campaign. We offered that as an add-on, but I like these kind of all cloth hats and like that. So I found this new hat that we could do. It's called the dad hat, and it actually has a little bit of fray on the bill, so it's been worn in a little bit. And the design is called the dad hat, and I'm like, well, let's just do the dad pack. Let's get the sticker, because I'm a dad. I like stickers. Get both of the get cover A and cover B, and one price there.
All right. So what's the back like? I mean, excuse me. On this dad hat style hat, it's not snapback, is it? Or?
No, it's Velcro. It's a Velcro back. Yeah. So the snap on the back, it looks a little bit like this one. So I'll try to bring that in a little bit. How that's Velcroed, you can see that.
Oh, okay.
It's a Velcro. Yeah. So that's how that back is on that one as well. It's a Velcro.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. It's
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was picturing, when you said Velcro, I was picturing one long piece of Velcro. You slide it through a little rectangular ring, and
Yeah.
then you fold back over onto
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. Some of them are like that, but this one is this design is that one is like that one.
Ah, all right.
Yeah.
Then we have the swag pack. Holy cow!
Yeah. So I like cool stuff, and I just recently opened up the store on my website, and you can order a backpack, and so that's what is on there. We got a backpack that can fit a 15-inch laptop. You've got the dad hat, you've got a coffee mug, and that other thing down there is a 60 by 70 fleece throw with the cane and white art on it. So I have that. Yeah, I've got that. When it gets chilly in the living room, I'll throw that over me, and I'm got on my laptop and working, So I've got hybrids everywhere. And so I thought, this is really cool. Let's go ahead and offer cover A, cover B, do the whole pack there with a sketch card and add in the swag stuff, that we can order. And so that's actually, when someone orders that those items are going to come from the fulfillment center. So I'll send out the books and all that stuff, but they'll get a package that includes all those things from the fulfillment center.
Oh yeah, I love swag.
Oh yeah.
So that backpack's big enough to fit a 15-inch laptop, you said?
Yeah, I would show you, but my laptop's actually using the being used at the moment. But you'll fit. It's padded, and so it's got pockets and stuff in it, and it's got that cane and white art on the front. So
is it the type of backpack that's specifically designed to carry laptops, or does it just happen to have enough padding?
It has enough padding for that. It's general use. So there's a pocket for a laptop, but you can put other things in there as well. It doesn't have to have laptop, but a lot of people have those now. So
are there smaller pockets anywhere on this backpack?
On the inside. Yeah, on the inside there are. There's another backpack design we were trying to work that had a pocket on the front, but it was getting really hard to match up the art on the front. And people wanted the art on the front. So at some point we'll do a second design that will not include. It'll include the art will look a little different on that one. So we'll do something very specific for it. But
so is this style of backpack intended for women or men and women?
Both. It's unisex.
Okay. So does it have the two straps?
It does, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. It's not one of those single strap things that goes over your shoulder.
No. This is a 2-strap backpack, typical of, of anything, most backpacks.
It doesn't happen to have one of those waist straps, does it?
No, I don't believe this model, when we chose this one, I don't think it had that. Of course, when the fulfillment center does all the packaging and stuff like that, the printing and putting them on there, I don't. Yeah, some of the small details may vary from what we picked, but none of them I think offered the waist strap, which some people love. I'm not a fan of personally. I feel like it gets in the way.
I used to like it back when I was in school, only because it felt like there was extra support.
Yeah.
But I think it was because I was always carrying too many damn books.
Yeah. Now I might like it if I was thin and it would go around me, but
right. Yeah. That'd be kind of a challenge for people who like to eat like me.
Yeah.
And then you've got the trading card, the chibi sticker.
Yep.
Plus a sketch card.
Yeah. So the sketch card, I have these little sketch cards that I sell for I'll do like $10 sketches at the at conventions and things and store signings, and I do a sketch and then I ink it, and so I will do one of those and put those in there. And if the person has a request, if someone says, "Hey, I think that I would want this drawn," then I'll even make a note with their campaign and I'll do a request. But if there's no request, then it's probably going to be a chlorine face, trash man face, one of the characters in the book's face, with those. But
makes sense.
Yeah.
Be a hybrid and a spin-off series.
Yeah, this is a really cool one. In the next book, we've got 5 pages to fill, and I decided that I wanted to. We really focused on the story around this one team that's in the Tennessee area and on the East Coast. But this stuff is happening everywhere, so it's kind of a global thing. Like Azazel and his partners are globally, these things are taking place, and so I wanted to give a sense of what was happening with some of the threats in other locations and some of the story through these little mini stories, 5 to 8 pages, of story. And I wanted to offer people that really like the story, want to be a part of it, an opportunity to either be the inspiration for one of these characters themselves, or to have somebody else that they really care about be the inspiration. And so for $150, you get cover A, cover B. Well, actually, you get your choice of cover. You can get any cover that you want. You get you get a whole bunch of the other stuff, the card, the chibi, the print or things like that. You get all that stuff in there. But then you get to work with me to develop your character, and your character will make it into this story. And so there's 4 spots for that. Someone's already got 1, so we've got 3 more spots available for that. It's really neat and the reason why we chose 150 is because it's going to cost X amount of dollars to get those pages made. And so that money goes to help get those pages produced. So it's not like I'm making a whole bunch of money off of it. I wanted to be able to give people that opportunity. And then when they get that issue, they can look, that's me. This is my character. I had some say in this. And it gives, in a way, it allows me to kind of turn over the Hybrids universe to the fans a little bit.
That's really trippy. I like campaigns that are able to offer that kind of stuff. Pretty darn cool. Stretch goals, hybrid engineering logo patch.
Yep, we are, like I said, we're $379 away from offering that as a round embroidered patch that's iron-on. And so that will be the stretch goal at $2,000. And then, we're so close. So hopefully we'll be able to make it by this weekend, I think. I hope.
Nice. Hollow foil trading card.
Yep. So the chlorine poster, we're going to shrink that down into a card. And on the back, we're going to give all of chlorine's stats. And so we're updating the stats from the version 1 card that we released with the last campaign. And so that will be the next, but it will be on a hollow foil paper. So it'll be a cool collector's edition.
And then the Netho Diaz cover poster.
Yes. So what we'll do is how they used to get those posters in with your comics back in the day in the bag. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this. We're going to print this out real big. We're going to ship it in with the books. And so we're looking forward to it. So
what dimensions are we talking about?
It is going to be the size of I don't have a comic book in front of me or near me. That's an odd thing for that to happen, but it's going to be slightly bigger than a comic book unfolded.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So roughly 11 by 17.
Yeah, roughly 11 by 17. Just a little smaller than that dimension, though.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that way it fits nice and neatly in. So it'll actually. You've probably seen it because a lot of folks have sent these out with their campaigns, but it'll be folded, a single fold, and then in a protective sleeve that comes in the Gemini mailer.
Oh, nice. All right, very good. Sweet. The Netho Diaz cover poster. Which one was that again? Which image? Let's see.
Yeah. So the cover, but without the badging on there.
Was it this one up here, this top one?
No, it's the bottom one.
Oh, the Netho Diaz, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
That top one's mine. I did that art.
Oh, okay.
I always do cover A, like the first option is always, or whoever the artist is on the interior of a book, I always try to make that the cover A.
Okay. Wait a minute. if you're the one who's doing the standard cover, isn't that considered cover A?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I did cover A, and so that's the standard.
All right.
And then the variant is the cover Bs.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Diaz one is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so you'll get that as a poster.
All right. Nice.
I do have a fourth and a fifth kind of picked out, but I don't want to announce it yet because it's like, let's wait until that seems, a little pretentious and a little counting your chickens before they're hatched to me. I like to, let's just do 3 at a time.
Well, you're not going to put a 40,000 goal and a 75,000 goal?
No. It's 28 days. I'm realistic. We normally get about 100 backers. I'd like to see 150 backers on this one, more if possible. But we'd like to see those kind of people, those kind of numbers come out. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is pay for this book to get out to the backers quickly, but then to also produce the next book. And so,
Yep.
So that we can get it to people faster.
Have you been seeing a gradual, steady increase in number of backers on each successive campaign?
Yes, I have. So, so we are getting new readers, and
nice.
And that's always good. That's always the goal, right? Is to get new readers. And so, one of these days, my ultimate goal is to have about 1,000 or more people that are reading the book. But
sure.
We just take it a step at a time and just try my best to create a good book that the people that are reading it will enjoy and want to share with their friends.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to get those new readers, but you also want to maintain your existing following, your reader base.
Yep.
Are you the hat model here?
I am not. That is stock. That's a stock photo guy.
Oh.
He, with the company that I use to do all of my swag stuff, it's like they do a mock-up on a model, so it looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. What's the name of them? Trying to think of the one I've been seeing a lot of lately. Not Teespring, but the other guys. T Public. I think they do that too.
Yeah, there's a few different places to get that done. So it's pretty cool. It's nice that you can do it. It used to be a lot harder back in the day. You would actually have to get a hat printed, and then, with this, you can do a mock-up, pretty easy mock-up. And then it goes on, like the model's already. And so the software adds it in there so that we can see what it's going to look like. And
which is very...
Yeah. One of the cool things is I always order these items before I put them out for sale. So I've got the mug, I've got that stuff. So
yeah, that's what I would have to do because I want to make sure it in person looks
exactly
like they envisioned it.
Yeah, and they do. They're spot on with their stuff. So what you see is what you get. It's gonna be really cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they typically charge you for the sample, right? It's like when you buy a proof before you go to print.
Yeah, I do get charged for the sample. I don't get it for free.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy them. I like swag just as much as anybody else. So.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, at the price that we're offering for the add-ons, I'm not making really anything for it. The idea is that the backers will pay for those things so that they can have those things in their hands and be able to enjoy the hybrid universe outside of the comic book every day. So
nice. And then we've got the mug. Do you have other views of the mug?
I have other views of the mug on my website, but because so we only got the one view of the mug there. But it's there was a digital wallpaper that the artist is a guy named Adrian Fernandez, and he does an amazing job. He's a quite talented tattoo artist.
Oh.
But he did this wallpaper for me. And so it's his art on the mug, and it's really cool.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, the picture that keeps wanting to, like the clearest one to pop up, it's a 3D model, right? So it's like I was having trouble every time I would download the picture. It would always just show that one, the middle version of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me see something here. Dun, 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 dun. Wait a minute. This is just for display purposes, right? Like there's
Yeah.
not a hybrids cutting board or a...
Yeah, just display purposes, so you can see the mug. It's yeah.
And is the middle of the mug and the top trim solid black?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So black on the inside, and yeah.
Now the handle, is it white or black?
It's black. Yeah.
All right. And then we've got the backpack, and like you said, it'll support a laptop of 15 inches.
15 inches. Yeah. Yeah, I put a lot of that information in the description on those add-ons so that you can, like what it's made of, its dimensions, its max capacity, and those kind of things. But
cool.
Yeah,
that's important stuff.
Yeah, I know if people are going to want to get those things or put those on as an add-on, they need to know those things. It's all the same stuff I offer on my website as far as the details on the items go.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
And that Canon white art it really pops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he did a great line art, and a guy named Eric Hodson did the colors and just did a tremendous job on the colors.
Man.
And that's the throw. That's the big blanket.
Holy cow.
Yeah, super soft, gorgeous to look at. Yeah.
There's no picture. There's no picture of you sampling it or modeling the throw on.
No, I wanted people to be interested in it. Like, what's this hairy guy doing wrapping up in a blanket like that? That's kind of weird.
He's looking awful cozy. I think I want one of these throws.
Yeah.
So you're the creator and the artist. You've got a cover, Patrick Gama, letterer, Nikki Powers, and editor, Piper Steed.
Yep.
Are you basically self-taught when it comes to drawing and writing?
Yeah. It's been a lot of trial and error to do it all. Yeah, it's just a lot of trial and error.
I mean, did you have any formal training in doing that stuff? Or
a little bit, yes. I did have, some graphic design on the college level. I did some graphic design and some of that. But that really just taught me Photoshop and things like that.
Oh, okay.
We didn't really get into, there was some art technique that we learned, but most of it is self-taught.
Huh. All right. 32-page full color comic, 51 backers, and you've had several campaigns you've successfully fulfilled, so that gets that out of the way.
Yeah, there's no worry that you're not going to get this book. Like, it's definitely coming. Like I said, it's done, pending, I think 5 or 6 little commas here or there that needs to be popped in. It's ready to go. And so as soon as those files are done, I talk with the printer tomorrow, and we set up make sure everything's ready for the print file. And then as soon as I know how many copies I'm going to need to get, so I have like a number of copies in mind, like this is what I'm going to get. But we do want to wait and see, how many backers do we get, because I always like to increase the number of copies I need by about 20%. That way I've got some for the next campaign, and I've got some for trade shows and things like that. So I try to wait until I get an idea about how many backers I'm going to end off with. And so
I was about to ask that. Some creators go with 25%.
Yeah, 25%. It depends. I try to get a nice even number when I go. So we kind of know ahead of time. I normally get about, the last campaign I had 130 backers total. So I'm trying to plan for about 150 backers, and so I've already got my increase figured out. And so if it looks like that's where I'm going to be, we're going to do that print run no matter what. That's what the goal for $1,200 was going to be for that print run. And so, yeah, I know exactly what I'm getting printed and how many of them. But it might increase. Who knows if tomorrow the heavens open up and shines on Luke and Hybrid's story, and I get 200 people to back it, and then it was like, okay, well, we need to obviously get more copies, so we'll adjust for that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I must have missed it. When were you planning to base your number off of it as you get closer to the end of the 28 days?
Yeah. Once we get, so it's only 4 weeks, and so we're coming up to the end of so in about 2 weeks. In about 2 weeks, I'll give the printers the thumbs up on what number to go with. So I'll be able to judge it by then. I feel like it's still a little early to be able to judge if I'm going to need more or not, but we already know what the minimum quantity is going to be, which will be enough to cover 150 backers and then some. So there'll be a total of 300. If I remember right, I think we're looking at either doing 500 or 1,000 copies. If it's closer to 150, we're going to do about 500 copies to start with, and then and then have them run more if we need them. So, yeah.
Okay. Does it take much more effort on the printer's side to do another run?
No, not at all. Like once the files are all set up, it's easy for them to do because we use a company that's used by a couple of different publishers, well-known publishers at that, and so they're set up to do the comics pretty easy, and so they can do runs of any number that we really want, but I don't feel like it's worth printing too much less than the 400 or 500 of them. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of printers, they have a minimum set.
Yeah,
that they're willing to print before they'll take your project.
Yeah, this printer's not one of those. They'll do anything. We use Comic Impressions for all of these, and so they do a really good job. And they've been printing. So far they've printed a couple books now that I've done. They did all of the trade paperbacks, and they did a tremendous job on those. I think they look really good. They're really well put together. I haven't heard any complaints about binding or anything like that, so I'm pretty proud of them.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And I presume they're easy to work with. They have good customer service.
Very good customer service. Rich Boyce is kind of the main contact over there for the comic side of things, and so he just does a tremendous job. They're really easy to get along with, and they work quick. They understand, especially with the turnaround times that we need with crowdfunding and stuff. So they're really good at scheduling it to where everything prints as soon as the money hits.
Wow.
So that we can keep all of that as fast paced as possible. And so, yeah, they get that, and they're so good to work with, so easy to work with.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So in the perks, in this case, we got the Netho Diaz variant. Yes. Excuse me. Usually when I think of a featured perk, I guess I've gotten used to what a lot of creators are doing now, where it's typically the original book plus maybe some extras, including in some cases a variant cover book, maybe sticker or print or a sketch card. But I
wanted to do something different.
Yeah. Like the traditional.
Yeah, I like this cover. A lot of people like this cover, and so the idea is, I'm only doing, the quantities. The cover A is obviously going to be the most that we print, and then this one is about half of that, and so I try to price them accordingly, the variants accordingly to that. But that's for people that are just wanting to, I want to point out that, look, here you can get this book at a reasonable price, And
so the variant, there is no cap on how many
The total run, like I said, is about 500, maybe 1,000, and so it's going to be like 40% of whatever I print is going to be the variant cover. So that way it stays, the ratio stays the same. So whatever the ratio, like I figured, it's like 40% is going to be this, 10% is going to be that,
Oh, okay.
for the covers. Right. I figure out a ratio and then I stick with that. So.
Good deal. Yeah, I asked because I don't see any specific cap. You have it open, so it's free to.
Yeah, because it's
because you're working with that ratio thing.
I'm working with that ratio, yeah, but I'm also thinking around if I were getting 500-600 backers, then I would cap it, but.
Gotcha.
Getting 130, 140, 150, so we don't need to cap it. Like right now at the print run that I have, we could, all of them could buy that, I guess, in this essence, and we wouldn't really have too much of an issue. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Then we got a digital download.
Yeah, wow. I did that for international folks that don't want to pay the money to have it shipped out because it's a little expensive to ship overseas now.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even to the UK, it's averaging what, $25? Sometimes as low as 20.
It's a little, well, for a single issue now, it's going to be about that. I just shipped out some books today, and it was all 3 versions of the trade paperback plus all 5 back issues of the comic in floppy form. And that box wound up being about $74 to ship that to the UK. Yeah, it was nuts. And I didn't quite charge enough on that one because I didn't know about this VAT thing. The
VAT tax, value-added tax?
Value-added tax, which used to be collected upon releasing from customs by the customer. But now the retailer, this guy, has got to pay it.
Is that right?
We have to collect it from the person, and then we have to pay. So I'm trying to figure all that out. So I just, God's been good to me. So I just went ahead and paid for the shipping and got the shipping taken care of. So it can get over to him, and get that, we'll figure all that stuff out here with this next, kind of the next go around. But so just shipping costs have gone up a little bit, with Brexit and kind of the conditions that we're in here in the U.S. and stuff. So. Yeah,
and I could be wrong, but I think shipping to Australia is even more expensive.
It is.
And it also takes longer because a lot of the mail and packages are being hung up on a ship off coast or something.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, shipping international is difficult, but we do it. I do it. And I also add in a little extra for everybody that buys international, if they back us and they're overseas. I know they got to pay a lot of extra, so I try to slide something of solid value in for them, something they're going to enjoy.
No, that's cool. And I know the digital version of the book is going to attract people. I tend not to be the type who's into digital simply because I don't like the interface that I see.
I always got a lot of digital over on Kickstarter, but on Indiegogo I never get any digital people.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Not one time has a person backed the digital tier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing you offer it because there are people who back digital books for sure. I've seen it on numerous campaigns. I'm just like old school. I like the smell and the feel of paper and.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Stanley really said it or not, but there's that meme goes around where he talks about the difference between looking at a comic versus feeling a comic. He compares it to certain anatomy parts. They're fine to look at on a screen, but I'd rather hold them in my hand.
Simulate them on yourself.
Yeah.
And make mine a PDF. It reminds me of that phrase, make mine Marvel.
That's where I got it from, yeah.
Oh, all right. All right, so we got cover A, which is your original artwork. Oh, I meant to ask. So as an artist, are you traditional, digital, or both?
I'm mostly digital when it comes to this stuff, but I do like to do both. Occasionally, I'll do a page in pencils, and then I will scan it and then do the inks digital. That way, I have an original pencil to sell. So
nice. Yeah. When you do digital, what do you work with? What's your medium? What software are you using?
It used to be Photoshop, but I recently moved to Clip Studio. So I've got the pro version of that, and I really, really like Clip Studio. It works really nice. And I'm using a Ueon tablet, a 22-inch. So
all right. Oh, is that how you pronounce it? All right.
Ueon, yeah. So yeah, I'm using that. One of these days, I'd like to upgrade to the, to the big boy, the very, very nice Wacom, but it's not quite in the budget. We got to sell a lot more comics to do that. So
gotcha. Yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, those products are very popular in the industry now. When you're doing your art, are you drawing on the equivalent of 11 by 17?
Yes.
All right. And are you going with like 600 pixels or more?
I do 300 DPI, so I do 11 by 17 and 300 DPI. That's kind of my sweet zone there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. What does HELL stand for? I just saw that. HELL stands for Hybrid Engineering Labs and Logistics.
Hybrid Engineering Labs and Logistics. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we like to use acronyms.
Yeah, I've been in the computer industry for years, and it's all about acronyms.
Yeah.
Let's see here. But I did not know what HELL stood for until now. Let's see here. So cover A is your original artwork.
Mm-hmm. Cover B is the Nitho Diaz cover, which is the
well, where's it? Where is it?
That was all the way up there. That's the.
Oh, that was the first. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
The featured tier.
The featured, yeah. This week that's the featured tier. So.
Oh, do you like change the feature
every week? Yeah, every week. Oh. I like to keep things fresh. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I used to run. I used to be in charge of merchandising, and I was a general manager of a auto parts store for a while. So I know how to rotate things in and out, and I like to keep things fresh. So.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I work in retail, and we're always doing that too. Let me see here. All right, so there's cover A, the basics. So,
yeah, he said, Matt said he had trouble understanding due to the mic quality. I'm sorry about that. It stands for Hybrid Engineering Labs and Logistics. So it's the location that we find out about in issue 5. Hopefully they were able to hear that better.
I'll type it into the chat as well. Hybrid Engineering Labs and Logistics. Unless lab was singular instead of plural.
No, it's plural. Labs,
all right.
Logistics, yeah.
Cool. Then we've got the black cover.
Yes.
Nice. Already 11 claimed out of 100.
Well, that's of just that tier, but we also have a couple of other tiers that include that book that have been picked up, and we've had the add-ons picked up. So we're only doing 100 of those. So as soon as we hit 100, every perk, like every tier that includes that item, will be shut off. So we've only got about 75 more. So.
Well, does the Indiegogo backend allow you to, instead of completely hide it, can you force it to list as sold out?
I don't know. I've never gotten there yet.
Okay.
I've never had to, never tried that. So.
All right. Reason I ask is because one of my favorite things about Indiegogo campaigns is when something is sold out, it's kind of grayed out and unavailable, but you can still see the tier.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it, not only because it shows that it's sold, but it also gives me a chance to see what I missed out on.
Yeah. So I can turn green with envy.
Yes, and also it serves as a reminder not to drop the ball next time.
Yeah, got to get in early.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that black cover is a cool idea. This is the first time I've ever seen it done.
Yeah, so I have another printer that usually does all of my special covers like that, and so I had gotten a hold of him and was asking about spot foil, and different things like that. I wanted to do something special with this cover, with this, something different. And he was the one that says, "Hey, here's this new thing that we're doing. You should check it out." And so when he sent me some samples, I was like, "That is sick." I had it. I was like, "This has to be it."
Nice. That is such a cool idea. I like it. Then we've got bells and whistles. So you got the standard cover with your work. You got a chibi sticker, a trading card, and a sketch card.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, if the backer has a specific thing in mind that they'd like the sketch card to be of, then they should reach out to you. Otherwise, you'll draw one of the portraits of one of the characters from this book.
Yes. Yeah.
Then we have the variant pack. So this has the variant cover plus the black cover.
Yes.
In this tier. All right. And did you still say you're on track for shipping in roughly April 2021?
Yeah, actually we're looking probably earlier than that, but I wanted to say that we would do April is a very conservative estimation in case there's any problem with getting any of this. A couple of things I do have to get in case there's a problem. What we ran into is one of the issues with the trade paperback was the paper that we needed for the holofoil cover was coming from a location that had just gotten hit by a hurricane.
Ooh.
And so they were waiting for their shipment to come, but their manufacturer that made that paper was overseas. And so they were having trouble because of COVID getting them the paper, and they were having trouble receiving the paper because of the hurricane. And so it delayed me being able to ship those out until right towards the end of when I had promised those to be shipped. And so it was a little, I gave myself a little extra room with an April promise date. But like I said, we're going to have all these files ready at the printers, and they're going to know how many to print. Well, we can already go ahead and get the black covers printed. And so as soon as I get the last of the finished letters pages back, he's going to get those files and get started on those because we know we're only doing 100 of them.
Nice. Yes. Hold on, let me check something real quick. I was trying to figure something out because it seems like I'm getting mixed information as I monitor my stream because I don't see any evidence that I'm even streaming. I think I'm shadow banned. I mean, when I look at the stream itself, it shows that I am streaming. But, oh, there it is. All right, it does say live now, but man, YouTube, you're all screwed up. Like if I do a search for myself, my channel, it shows that it shows down below one of the latest videos is that I'm live with you.
Yeah.
But under, all right, I think I see what's going on. It might be my own stupidity. I'm on the left-hand side, I rely on subscriptions, and there's a little radio signal kind of symbol indicating who's live. And I guess you can't be subscribed to yourself. And that's why I don't appear on the left-hand navigation. Oh, I'm being goofy, I think. Yeah. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So that was a variant pack. Now we got the standard catch-up we touched on. That gives you the trade paperback, which is 6 issues of hybrids, all in one paperback volume.
Yeah, it's a total of 140 pages, so there's a lot of extra content in there. I've got creator notes, kind of behind the scenes, like pictures of like concept art and things like that that's available in there. It goes well above just reading the comic, but also gives you some insight into all of that. You get the Serafina backup story, you get the post-credit scene that we've done, and then a series of 2-page backup stories that different creators were able to work on. So different writer and artist teams were able to work on those, and we put those in there as well. So yeah, we put a lot in those.
Awesome. I love behind the scenes stuff. Then you've got the variant cover. Hold on. No, standard catch up with trade paperback. Oh, this is a triple pack collection. All right.
Yes. You get all 3 of the covers.
All right. Oh, let me see. I think it showed on. I think you had it on the left side. So the image on. Is that Chlorine on the cover or someone else?
No, that's Bone. That's her brother. Her brother is on the cover there. And I've shared it on Twitter, just the black and white line art that I've used on that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So it's on your Twitter. All right.
Yeah.
And then after the triple pack collection, we've got Bells and Whistles Plus.
Yeah.
You get all 3 covered books. You get the chibi sticker, the trading card, plus a sketch card.
Yeah. Wow,
these are such affordable tiers. Nice.
I really try to make it affordable for people. I'm not trying to get rich off of like one book. I want to be able to produce the book and produce the next issue and be able to get it into people's hands so that they can enjoy it. That's kind of the idea. And fortunately, we've been able to do that so far. Like I said, this book, it's 32-page self-cover, so there's 28 pages of interior like content. So
awesome sauce. Alrighty. Oops. Variant catch up with trade paperback. That gives you the 6 issues all in one volume, plus all this bonus material, including behind the scenes stuff, and the book for The Killing Fields Part 1.
And you get those awesome covers, very nice art.
And then we've got the Dad Pack, which we touched on. The standard and variant cover, a chibi character sticker, and the hat, as it's called. Drawn in. Oh, there's a drawn in tier.
Yeah. So what's cool about this is there's a 2-page spread at the end of the next issue of Part 2, where our heroes there's these monks like people that come out and like they got to fight them. So like these ninja monks they're fighting, and there will be 4 faces that you can choose from. So otherwise, I'm either going to draw random phases, or we have the ability to be drawn in. So you can be drawn in as one of those monks in the next issue of this comic. So we're doing that for 100. But you also get the books, and so you get choice of book. You can choose your cover.
All right, so
with that as well.
You get drawn in, plus you get one of
you
plus
can
you
choose
get the book itself.
Yeah, you get the book. Yeah. So you can choose which cover you want, and then you get the card, you get the sticker, and
you get the card and the sticker as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Are you also able to choose the black cover?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So all 3 covers are up for grabs.
Yeah, all 3 covers are up for grabs on that tier.
Wow, nice. Then you get the swag pack.
Yep.
Standard variant covers of the book. You get a backpack with all this beautiful art. You get the dad hat, the chibi sticker, the trading card, the mug. Is that a print?
That's the blanket.
Oh, the throw. Right.
Yeah, you get the throw. Yeah.
Plus a sketch card. Nice. Yep. Do you happen to know offhand, is the mug machine washable? I mean, is the dishwasher and microwave?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I've got that mug, and I use it in the microwave and put it in the dishwasher every day.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an everyday use for me.
Good.
Yeah.
Those are the types of mugs to get.
Yep.
And then you've got become a hybrid.
Yep.
You want to go over that again?
Yeah. So you can become a hybrid, and the cool thing about this tier is you get on top of being that, you get the trading card, you get the chibi sticker, you get your choice of cover, and then you also get to become a hybrid. So in the next issue, at the end of it, this next issue is 32 pages. We're going to make it a 40-page self cover. So that means I've got 36 total pages to work with. And so I've got 4 more pages that's going to go in there. And rather than just stick fluff and stuff in, I'm going to do a 4-page mini story that starts off another team and another group of people that are developing these powers and things like this. So I'm going to start telling a little bit of a spin-off story from this universe, because we mainly focus on just this single group here in Franklin, Tennessee. But this stuff is happening all over the place. And so I'm going to start telling a larger part of the story through little mini stories. And the first one's going to be in this next issue. And so what you're doing is you're basically getting to pick either yourself or someone you care about to be the basis and inspiration for one of these characters that turns into a hybrid. And then we work the story around, work that person into the story and around the story around them. So you get to be a part of the saga. And in a sense, trying to basically hand over a little bit of the hybrid universe to the fans. And we chose that dollar amount because it's going to cost, so you get the books in there, but all of that money will go towards producing those 4 to 5 pages that we're going to put in.
So does the 4 to 5 pages, are they going to introduce all 4 of these drawn in?
Yeah, they will introduce all 4 of these become a hybrid people. So kind of what happens in there, and then that story will continue on through different backup stories in different Terraform publications. So we may stick them in a continuum, we may stick them, but ultimately they will all make it into the trade paperback for the Killing Field. So once we get volume 2, the Killing Field done, the whole trade paperback, this stuff will also be in that as well.
Oh. Did you say that the way you do this is you release 2 books, 2 comic books individually through separate campaigns, and then you do a 3rd campaign where you combine the 2 into a trade paperback?
No, it's yes and no. It's not just 2. It will be 4 For
Okay,
this, so we'll
4.
do 4 campaigns for all 4 books, and then we'll do a 5th campaign that will be the entire collection.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
that you can get that, anybody that wants that whole, because what I've learned is there are people that they want their content faster and in smaller chunks. So some people love floppies and that's what they want to do. And then other people, they just want to wait for the trade paperback every 18 months, to come out. And so in order to be able to accommodate for both, we take little episodes. So we make the one big arc kind of episodic. And so the first one was 5, and this next one is 4. And so we'll run a campaign for each one of those. And so the next one, when we do part 2, it will actually be for part 1 and part 2. So you can still get part 1 along with part 2. And so we just kind of keep stacking that. And then we'll do, once we're done, we'll be like the complete first arc, like we did, or the complete arc. We'll complete, like how I said, the complete first arc for the last one I did before the trade paperback. We'll do a very similar thing to this one, where it will be the complete the complete, saying the old one, the Killing Field arc. And then we'll do a trade paperback that will have a bunch of extra content in it. So we'll do some stuff that's very specific for that. I'll do some behind the scenes stuff. Anyone that, when we start talking about those backup stories, little notes that we take about that will go in there. And so pin-ups that we've collected, all of that stuff. And so, we're looking at it, I start planning the trade paperback as I'm releasing these single issues that will lead to that.
So part of the beauty of this Become a Hybrid is you've got the the likelihood of being in more than just one book. Your character will survive beyond just a single issue.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And theoretically, let's say once all 4 are claimed, you've got people who back this and they all live in 4 different states. Are you going to go kind of like based off of that idea? Like, all right, this person's from Tennessee. This is what is happening with the hybrids in that state. Another person's in North Dakota. This is what the hybrids over there are experiencing.
Well, yeah, we're working on the story, and I've already got some plans on where that's going to go and kind of what's already happening. So there's things that's happening inside of the world already that the reader doesn't know about, because it's all of that world building stuff that we've, so I already know what's happening in those areas. And there's a way, so even if these people are, in different countries and things like that, we have a way of being able to bring them together. And so we're going to bring them together in a short amount of time. But what I want to do is not just make them fit into the story that I'm telling, but mold that story a little bit to the nuances of the character that they design, to themselves. And so there will be some adaptation to what we've already been outlining to fit the characters that are designed. So, but the first appearance, we've only got 4 pages to work with. So we're going to be very, very concise and still intriguing with the storytelling. So we want to make it interesting for the reader, but also really, really cool for the people that back that tier, that say, hey, I want to be that. That way they feel really excited about seeing themselves or their loved one as a hybrid.
Right. And since you're virtually done with this book, is the Become a Hybrid tier going to kick in issue 2?
Yeah, that's when it pops in. So in part 2 of this that's when that story will be released. And so that's also where the drawn in is for part 2. So we do all of that because this book is going to go and it's going to ship out right away, but it's also going to give you a really cool thing to look forward to in the part 2. Nice. Part 2 is a massive story. It is a big chunk of the story. Our team splits off into different directions, and the threat just keeps growing. And I think I said earlier, issues 3 and 4, parts 3 and 4 of the Killing Field will just be this massive battle that really just shakes kind of the whole core of the story and leads us into the next arc, which would just be we really up the scale from where we were. And some of these become a hybrid, some of those people will make it into the actual arc as we go forward.
Ah, sweet. Welcome, Jimmy Reyes Art. Hola, mates.
What's up, Jimmy?
That's so cool. I like those types of tiers where it's not like a one and done, or you're just in the background,
Yeah.
not doing anything, or stuff like this. This makes it seems like it's so much more interactive.
Yeah, you get to be one of the things that we're releasing this year as a role-playing game for the Hybrids universe. I'm working with a guy named Nick Tockard, who is a great game developer, and so it's the old school roll in the dice, theater of the mind type role-playing game. And we're releasing that because we want everybody to be able to create themselves as a hybrid or their own special character and be able to play in this immersive world. But so I kind of got the idea to do this from that. But also because one of the characters in the book is a real life person. Our character Danny is 100% a real life person.
Oh.
And as I was writing the story, I went to Danny. I said, "I'm missing an element, and they need you. They need a you in there. Do you mind if I draw you in as one of the characters?" And he was like, "No, that'd be great." So he got drawn in as a character because I needed him in the story, like his personality, the kind of person he was. The team needed that element. And so it got me thinking, there's other people that could be and deserve to be in a comic book, like how cool would that be to be able to be a part of this world? Because it's not just mine anymore. I'm not trying to make it just all mine. I'm trying to make it for everybody to enjoy and to have ownership in and have a piece of it. And so the hope is that's what this will do. It allows at least 4 people to put their fingerprint into the universe and to have a little bit of have a little bit more investment than just, hey, I bought your book and I helped you get funded. But hey, you're helping progress this thing along, and this universe is going to spin off, and it's going to be bigger and more interesting because of you. And so that's kind of the idea and the hope for that. And I really hope that all 4 of them go. One of them is already gone. I'm very excited to start working with them to develop their character. But we got 3 more openings on that one for this first round anyway.
Nice. Fantastic. Become a hybrid. All kinds of goodies to choose from.
I really did try to spread it out across the gamut from any point being able to get in and get involved with this, from $2 all the way up to $150.
And wow, yeah, that's some good stuff for sure. Since you sometimes do traditional, have you considered in a future campaign offering original art?
I do have some original art, but it's for an old issue. And I have a tier that I thought about opening up for this one. But it's in there. It's just hidden. We haven't opened it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we start to get, some of those other things sold out, we'll open that up, if we get towards the end. But yeah, I think about it often, including those things. I haven't had anyone really buy original art for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where maybe if I was better known or something, I would be able to sell some original art. But,
well, you'll definitely get there for sure.
Yeah.
You're making lots of progress on this campaign. I mean, this IP and your art. Would Hybrids, the Killing Field, technically be like issue 7 then?
Technically, yeah. Well, okay, if we're gonna look at it let's kind of look at it like the Star Wars universe. You know how like there's the main arc of Star Wars, and then they've got like other like things that go off. This would technically just be issue 6, and the other issues are like Serafina is a spinoff. It's like a little mini episode, and but it tells a story of one of the characters, and so it kind of sets her up for this arc so that you kind of understand who she is before you get into this story. And then the backup, like all the backup stories are kind of just like sprinkling, like little mini episodic things that you get to see about the characters to kind of develop who they are. But Trash Day 1 through 5, parts 1 through 5 is part of the actual story, and then the Killing Field part 1 through 4 is part of the main bulk of the story, and so then everything else just kind of builds on top of it, like a Rogue One or a Mandalorian or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Right on. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So you're at 1621 USD for 51 backers.
Mm-hmm.
That's 135% of your $1,200 fixed goal. So chugging along, definitely want to get more eyeballs on this.
Yep.
For anyone who hasn't already, definitely consider backing this book. Looks really good. And yeah, back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. 24 days left. This is a 28-day funding campaign. There will be no extensions.
No extensions at all.
And then when it comes to in demand, did you say it would be maybe 2-3 weeks at most?
We'll probably keep cover A and cover B in demand, but everything else will get turned off.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you'll be working on Killing Fields Part 2 next, right?
Yeah. I actually start. So on this one, because I'm finishing up the last few pages of Voodoo Nations 2, which will actually go to Kickstarter right after this one ends, which is why this is only going to be 28 days. Once I get those, I got 3 pages left, 4 pages left. As soon as those 4 pages are done this weekend, then I start on Monday. I start on the Killing Field Part 2. And the layout artist has already started on those. So we have like 13, 14 pages. And by this weekend, he'll have all 32 of them ready to me.
Whoa.
So we will, yeah. So I will start that. And I should be working, hopefully 4 weeks I'll be finished with that. And the colorist will start getting the work as soon as I get done. And so I'll try to stay ahead of him by a week or 2. And then hopefully by the end of March, all of it, if we stay on schedule, everything will be finished, with the exception of the letters. And so the letter will need a day or 2 for it. And then we'll be ready. So as soon as I ship out all the packages, to all the backers for this one, we start the campaign thing over again. We start with a new video. We start with a new, send out the mailing list, new perks, all that kind of stuff. Yep.
Do you guys make all your trailers in-house?
I do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Nice. And so each of you is a creator unto themselves, right?
Yes, yeah.
And there's what, 4 or 5 people in your...
There's 5 of us, yeah. There's 5 of us. So Meredith is working on her first full comic book that she's doing. She's been a prose writer before that, working with a guy named Rob Anderson, who's done a lot of different books. In fact, he's got a book called Cat, Dad, and Supermom that has been in previews. That's in previews now, and it's being released through Scoot, which is an imprint of Scout Comics. And then Varian Grant and Eric Hodson both have created their own books and published and done web comics and things like that. So, yeah, we're a very diverse group of comic creators. So I'm pretty excited about what we're doing. We feel really good about it.
While Hybrids is funding, do you guys have a lot of your other properties also at running funding campaigns at the same time as Hybrids?
Well, we're getting ready to, yes. The Continuum Part 1, the first issue of the Continuum, will be running on Kickstarter in a week. So it will launch in a week, and it will run for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to do really short amounts of time on those. The idea is, a lot of people will do a 30 or 60-day campaign or longer. But what we're trying to do is produce more books at a faster pace for people to try to get maybe not to the regular like monthly release, but to at least have something new every month coming out for people, so that they're back in something, they're getting something in the mail, and have that kind of a cycle. And so in order to do that, that means we have to run shorter campaigns. So you run a shorter campaign with a more conservative goal, and you try to meet those needs, based off of those things. And so you get it in a cycle to where you're constantly working. And that's really what we're working on. And so that's what I'm doing right now with hybrids, and we're going to be doing that with the Continuum, which will eventually launch into a couple of other books. One of them is Wolf and Fox that I'm working on. I've got a story called Eighth Day that I'm doing, and then eventually, hopefully this year as well, we'll get out The Worst Day Ever, one shot that will eventually come out. And then Voodoo Nations, we're going to plan on having that one done. That's a 4-issue miniseries. We released the first issue last year, but that's with another company. That's not with my company. It's with Orange Cone. And issue 2 releases next month on Kickstarter, and then we plan to have the other 2 come out before the end of the year. So it's a lot of undertaking, but my goal is for 2021 to draw like it's my last year of existence. It's my goal, not to waste any time.
That's the way to do it. For sure.
Yeah, I don't want to waste any time at all. Like, I just want to really focus on making it happen, and trying to produce as much as I can at the highest quality possible.
With all the various IPs going to Kickstarter, are you going to have Indiegogo equivalents of all of those as well?
Probably. We're thinking about doing an Indiegogo for Voodoo Nation, at least having it in demand. We haven't done it for the first issue, but we may take issue 1 and issue 2 to Indiegogo at some point this summer. And we've thought about for the Continuum. I don't know if we're going to use the Continuum on Indiegogo or not. I would like to, but we're still kind of debating that. But I think doing an Indiegogo Continuum would be really great, because there's a lot of people that back on Indiegogo that don't back on Kickstarter, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think that those, for some of those books, we need to run congruently with those. But yeah, that's the plan. So
true.
Yeah. And we may put those together in this hodgepodge campaign where it's like, hey, you can back this, you can back this, you can back this, or you can back them all, so you can get a hold of whatever you need to get a hold of that we've already ran on Kickstarter, and then we can just put a big, kind of collection of different books that you can get all at once on Indiegogo in case you missed them.
And is there a concerted effort to take all the IPs that you're publishing and have them all in the same shared universe?
Not all of them, no. It might be possible, but we tried to do this with Starcross Comics, where everything was in it, where most things were in a shared universe, and it got very problematic. Because what you have to do, you basically have to give over some of your IP for free to be used, and it really wasn't a problem if everybody is on the same page and everything like that. But I didn't leave Starcross out of with any kind of ill feelings or anything. Joe's a great guy. They were great people, but it was one of those things where I wanted to move at a different pace than what everybody else was. And so if we had a shared universe, what was happening was I was getting ahead of everyone with my pace. They were a few issues behind. And I was like, well, I want to move a little faster, so I would like to try this and I would like to try that with, how to promote and how to market and how to grow my IP. And so it just made sense to step away and, do something at a different pace. And at that point, then everything that was shared, we had to unshare, and so it was complicated. And with creator-owned stuff, we're learning that it's difficult to have overlap. But we are making stuff that is Terraform-owned properties, like Terraform owns them. And so some of those things will overlap, and we'll allow them to overlap, a couple of them. And obviously, the hybrid universe overlaps itself. But there's going to be a couple of spinoffs from that. There's a book I'm working on called Armageddon Watch, which is a future tense of the book, of the story. There's another one called For God and Country that I'm working on that also exists in the same universe and kind of has a little bit of overlap. And then there's another book that I'm working on, and I haven't got a really good title about it for it yet, but it's basically like cyber pirates, time traveling cyber pirates, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's like this really cool, like way out there kind of idea that will be existent within this universe as well. But that one's probably at least a year out from development, if not more, because I've got all this other stuff working this year. So.
Oh well, yeah. You're extremely busy, and this is all on. All of this stuff is on top of a full-time job, and
Yes, yeah.
man,
Yeah.
you must. Go ahead.
I'm a full-time pastor, so that's about 50 plus hours a week is spent in ministry. So.
Oh goodness gracious,
Yeah.
That's a heavy schedule, and well, like you said, you're very organized.
Yeah. That's why I work with the team that I do. If I can work with the layout artist, I've got a guy, Brian Dawson, who does a tremendous job on my layouts, and so he gets my style. It's very similar, and so and he's very creative. He knows how to take my notes and my writing, and he's good at it. And so we can speed up the process tremendously. He's really fast at the layouts, and I'm really fast at pencils and inks. I'm really slow at layouts, really slow at them. It takes me days to be happy with something. And so
what exactly is the role of the layout artist?
The role of the layout artist is he makes like a thumbnail of the page, if that makes sense. So it's like what the page is supposed to be. He does rough thumbnails of where everything should be laid out. Like this is the camera angle for this panel, and here.
Yeah.
He works the pacing. He understands that, let's put our establishing shot here. Let's do the page turner here. So based off of my writing and what I've written, he creates this layout because it's a mix between Marvel style and full script style. I kind of go through and I say, this is what I want to do. Because if I'm drawing it myself, I don't need all the details,
Right.
I don't have to put down like, this is over here. The camera is soft over the shoulder and all that kind of stuff. I don't need any of that. I just got it in my head. But he's also really creative, and he kind of gets, if I do have a specific camera angle in mind, I'll mention it. But he goes through and reads my words and then does thumbnails like, okay, here's how we can make this page work and flow and make it look good. And so then I don't have to sit down and think about it, as much as I do. If I don't like it, I change it. If I like it, I keep it, but it allows me to speed that process up, so I'm not spending so much time overthinking, because that's my problem. On layouts, I tend to overthink it. I'm working on one page, the last page of layouts for Voodoo Nations, and I've been working on it for 2 weeks. I've got the rest of the book drawn. It's the last page of layouts, and I'm like, it's so simple. It's two people walking through a bar into a bathroom, and I'm like. But I'm questioning how do I make this interesting, and so I'm like drawing like, that's not interesting enough,
Right.
And so but with working with Brian, I'm working on this book, he's doing my layouts. And so then I just, when he gives me those, it already, it starts the creative juices flowing, and I'm able to move much more quickly. So
that is so cool. You found such a good partnership that you dive with really well.
Yeah. And the colorist, I don't have to have him edit hardly anything at all. Like if there's a new character, I might, but he kind of gets the idea. Like I've literally given him a new character and had no input on color palette whatsoever, but he knows what I like. And so there's the color palette. And I'm like, dude, that's brilliant. Thanks. Awesome. So it moves so quickly. Yeah. And I'm starting to get that kind of tightness with my letterer. She'd been with me off and on for, the last couple of years, but to save money, I'd been doing it all myself. But thankfully, because of the support of the backers out there and the people and really, to be honest, it's a lot, the Comicsgate community, like huge. They really come out on this first day to help me get funded here. And they helped the last campaign get to the 6,000 plus that it has been. And so that's been able to help fund this book to get done so fast. And whatever else we make on top of this 1,200 is going to go into it, going to go into part 2 of the Killing Field, or issue 7 of the book. And so because of them and their support, I'm able to share that with the layout artist, with the colorist, with the letterer, with the editor, so that we can have a team that works cohesively together and works hard together. And so it's just been tremendous to be able to find those people and keep the team together the way that we have. So.
Oh yeah, I bet. But on the same token, you must have an amazingly supportive family to be able to deal with your extremely long work hours.
I mostly work from home, with the exception of, obviously the traveling stuff that I have to do with ministry. So I've not only got a supportive wife who is on board. She understands, especially, they always joke during campaign season. They're like, okay, so we're going to lose you for a few weeks, right? Okay, yeah, pretty much. Because I try to get on every stream that I can and get out there and talk to people. But when I'm not campaigning campaigning to raise money, I'm working. It's all about butt power. I've got this nice new chair, and I've got this little blue pad for your backside. So I sit in that thing, and it's hours sitting here drawing. There's days when I'll spend, if it's a day off from my other job, I don't have anything going, I'll spend 13, 14 hours in the chair drawing.
Whoa.
And in that amount of time, I can draw probably 8 pages.
Damn.
Yeah. So
wow.
I can get it moving pretty quick. So, because I've been able to work on that and work on my, a few tricks to be able to get faster, I'm able to do that. But yeah, so they're so supportive in that. My kids love the comics. I'm home, so they will pop in and we'll talk to each other, and I'll take little breaks and things like that. But for the most part, we stay busy. And I also use an iPad. I've got an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil, and I've got the ability to just move my pages over to that because I'm using Clip Studio. So I can just move them right over to that, and I can open my pages there. And then I've backed this thing that took them a year to get to me, but it's like a big sketchboard. You pop your iPad in it, and it has legs. You set it up so I can literally go in the living room and pop up like I'm drawing on a sketch, like a big sketch pad.
Oh.
And draw my pages. Draw my pages in the living room, so we can watch a show or something while I'm drawing. So yeah, it's all about trying to find faster ways to do it, more efficient ways to do it, and super supportive family, wife and kids, and then super supportive church family too. All of them know what I do, and they completely support, my endeavors to tell stories through art. It's not a Christian comic book, but, there's allegory to it. There's the kind of the principles and foundations of, what I find to be important in life, make their way into the story. And, it encourages people. We talk about faith in it. We talk about some of that other stuff, but it's in a nice and natural, organic way. It's not trying to shove anything down anybody's throat.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and they totally see the value of it, and it's been great. Most of the time, I get a chance to talk about how faith and comics interact with each other, with people, and it's been really neat to do that. In fact, I've met people at conventions and been able to. It puts me in a position. They're like, "Oh, you're a pastor. I've got something going on. Can you talk for a minute?" And I'll let my wife watch the table, and we'll go talk, about what's going on in their lives, and pray with people and things like that. So it's been a neat extension of kind of the ministry I already do, but just incorporating this, artistic life that God made me that way. So I don't want to depart from it.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely been fun to do that.
Yeah, you found your purpose.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm hoping you're at least getting enough time to squeeze in during your long work hours to take breaks and stretch and, relax your eyes and, make sure you don't get carpal tunnel or something like that.
Yeah, I keep getting a knot up here in my arm, and I'm really my wife tonight was like, "How do you keep getting that thing?" I go, "I don't know." She goes, "Is it from drawing?" I said, it might be. I don't know. But yeah, so we get up and we go do we'll do a couple laps around the neighborhood and stuff like that. So trying to keep healthy with it,
Cool.
Snack a lot. I drink a lot of I do like these sugar-free lemonade. Like I'll make fresh lemonade, but I'll use Splenda and things like that, or I'll drink water.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and so, but I found when I'm drawing, I don't snack a lot. I'm not really eating because I've got ADHD, so I get so like tunnel vision on what I'm doing. So I just go nuts drawing, and I'll think it's just been a couple of minutes, and I'll be listening to podcasts, or some, different things, Next thing I know, I look up and the sun's gone.
Yeah, I was thinking of going the iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil route. Is that Sketchpad thing you're talking about only compatible with iPads? Is that why you even switched to iPad from the Weon?
No, I stick with the Weon mostly because it's with the computer. I was with the iPad at first. I used a different program to use it as a drawing tablet. But no, I wanted to be mobile, where if I needed to go somewhere, I could draw. But I was finding that it was awkward, even at the 13-inch iPad, just draw.
Oh, hold on. You're roboting.
And yeah, I saw that. You got me back yet?
I hear you,
back
but
yet?
It seems like I can't tell if the video is trying to.
Well, I was standing real still. Yeah, I was standing pretty still.
You're pulling the Drax again.
Yeah, I was pulling a Drax again. But I was saying I wanted to be more mobile with my art, so that's why I was using that. And then I saw that someone had made it, for the ergonomic aspect of using the iPad to draw with, and so that's why I got it. And so you can use other things. I think mostly they've got inserts for the iPad. That's all I paid attention to. I didn't really pay attention to anything else. But once I saw they could do what I wanted, I'm like, I'll just get that. I didn't read any further.
And the Weon, is it like still a cable plugged in USB or something like that?
Yeah, it's just a monitor. So I actually have, like, if you see my eye line, I've actually pulled you down here right in front of me on the monitor.
Okay.
So it's a monitor that uses a pen. So I've got it's touch sensitive. It's USB, but it's also got HDMI. So it's high resolution, but it's got an etched glass, like laser etched glass, so it feels like paper. It's a little smoother. It feels like Bristol board, and and I like it a lot. The pen is really smart. I used to use I've got it over here. I had a smaller version. I had this XP pen.
Okay.
But the pen that comes with it the nib has too much float to it, and so getting like those real tight fine lines just wasn't working real well for me. But it was nice to have a larger format to draw with at the computer.
Right.
But I was able to upgrade from this, which still, it's a good tablet. There's nothing wrong with it. I could easily get the job done with it. I just feel like the Weon worked better than the XP pen. And so
XP pen, is that from Microsoft?
No, it's another foreign company.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another foreign company, and they they're, like I said, they're not bad. They've upgraded. I think some of the other stuff has gotten better, and some of the complaints they've been able to fix. Especially like the the nibs being too loose, they float too much. But the nib on this thing is super tight, so it's like I could just I barely float and make a line, a hair tight line on it. So super good. And part of that, I think, is also, it's not just the tablet, it's also the Clip Studio that I use. So
okay. Welcome, Edwin. The Ace is live on Indiegogo Acevedo. Hey, peeps. How's it going,
man? Edwin?
So the Weon, you said it feels like Bristol board.
Yeah, it's got laser etched glass. So, and that's kind of the big difference between the XP pen that I was having. That particular model has a screen protector on it that's textured. but it's scratched up like really fast. So like there's whole like section in the middle. So you can buy a new screen protector to put on it. But I don't think it was supposed to scratch up as quickly, but I'm kind of heavy.
Right. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, but this etched glass doesn't scratch at all, and it's the nib is so soft and so smooth on it. And I mean, I've clocked already. I've drawn 3 comics with I've drawn 3 comics already with the setup that I've got now with Clip Studio and with the Ueon. And so it's working out really, really well. Yeah. So yeah, that equates to be about 60 pages, 60 or so pages.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Cranking them out.
I try.
Does the textured glass, is it swappable so that you can get the feel of other materials instead of just Bristol board?
No, it's not. Like I know some people like a little rougher, but I feel like like the Bristol board is kind of a smooth paper.
Okay.
But this still feels like I'm drawing on paper, but a real smooth Bristol board.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty cool. That's a trip. So you mentioned that the iPad affords you the portability, so you can take it wherever.
Yeah, it's definitely different drawing because it doesn't have the texture on there, and the Apple Pencil has a different response to it. But it's still good. It's pretty nice, and I'm able to, move out, outside of the house to do the art if I need to.
Right. Out of curiosity, do you have it hooked up to like Wi-Fi and cellular, or do you just use it locally around your house?
Yeah, just Wi-Fi on that one. So, but now with this, I would take it with me to Panera. Like every once in a while, I'll go over like Panera and just hang out and let people know I'm there. If they want to come by and talk, they have something they need to get off their chest, I'll let people know I'm there. And
Panera has Wi-Fi, doesn't it?
They do, yeah. So so I'll just take my iPad with me and I'll draw, or something.
Oh, sweet.
It was still kind of a problem because it was like it's not very ergonomic trying to, I've got big hands, and I'm trying to draw on that screen, and it's just but now with this, I'll just take that, and I don't even care if I'm setting that up on the table. And people's like, "Why you got a drawing pad on the table?" It's like, because I'm drinking coffee and drawing pictures. Mind your own business, But yeah.
I'm drawing your concerns. I'm translating it into a visual medium.
Yeah. My camera broke, so I'm drawing a picture of you.
Exactly. I once used to watch these little short videos where some artist is in coffee shops, and I guess it's a thing they do. They go around drawing people that they see in the coffee shop, and then they present the finished piece of art to them to get their reactions.
Yeah, it's really a good challenge as an artist to see if you can draw something that you're looking at. I know a lot of people that they don't it's like using a photo reference. People aren't used to looking at something and trying to draw what they see. And so that's how I started drawing, actually. Like when I had an art teacher that really worked with me on, you've got to be able to draw what you see. And so I use photo reference for a lot of stuff. It's like I'll pull up a picture, and it's like, okay, like should be, and I'll pull it up to regular size. I'm using my thumb and my, trying to figure that out. Like, okay, how far is that? And somebody was like, why don't you just trace it? And I'm like, because it's a principle for me. You can just pull it in a layer and just like trace the outline of it. I'm like, it's a principle for me. I just can't do it, guys.
Right.
It's like that's not how I was taught. I'm trying to take what I'm seeing and turn it into this thing over here. So I use photo reference a lot with that kind of stuff. But
sure.
So it helps. Like when I'm out in public, I can draw what I see. But if you don't do that a lot, then you get out of practice. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to do that every once in a while. Like I'll warm up with something like that. Like, let me draw that, what that cup looks like or something like that. Just try to get good at it,
That's a good idea. I loved live figure drawing, but it was also a challenge, trying to, you know, they run us through all these drills where you had different amounts of time to get as much done as you could, and then you know the model would switch to another pose and that kind of stuff. I mean, that was a blast, but it was always challenging for me. So I tend to work better when I'm literally working from photo reference. I'm the type who's into taking a portrait or a picture of a person that's already on a photo and then translating it onto paper but enlarging it at the same time. Yeah. So pretty fun stuff though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was on a stream the other night where we were drawing a panel, and so what I did is I pulled the panel into I got a big 11x17 page up, and I pulled the panel in over there, and then I that way I could see right at it and be able to look at it and draw, and so it was pretty fun. You know, I like looking at what I'm trying to mimic. You know.
Awesome. Yeah. Same here. Yeah, and besides the figure drawing class I took, I actually used to go to the shopping mall frequently and just draw people I would see sitting down and eating and stuff. You know, with my sketch pad, just pencils. And that was always fun too. I don't know if you saw, but it looks like you got another backer.
I did, yeah, I saw that. So we're getting a little closer. What is that? $324 away from hitting that $2,000 stretch goal, which that will give us the money to give to the colorist, and it will get everybody a patch. So all physical backers will get a patch.
I'm going to specifically notate only $324 away from hitting the next stretch goal. Is it one of those iron-on patches, or is it the kind that you just sew on?
It's an iron-on embroidered patch, so it is an embroidered circle. And then here, let me pull up the picture. I can't give it. Maybe I can show it on my screen of what the patch will look like. So that is the logo for the Hybrid Engineering Corporation, and so it'll be that embroidered patch. And it's a circular 3x3, and it will we'll be able to you'll be able to iron that right on. And so that is the fourth stretch goal that we have. It's another patch, but it's more on the kind of the cute side. It's one of the chibis. We're trying to get that digitized and turned into a patch. So that's kind of the goal with that one. But
Yep. Let me see something here. I'm going to drop this information into a couple areas to further promote how close we are to the patch. So we got that in Twitter, now we got it in Facebook, and excuse me, now we'll have it in MeWe. Dun, 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 dun. Sweet. All right. Awesome sauce.
sweet.
Yeah, making progress. 139% of the fixed goal. Awesome.
Yep. And it will go, like I said, it will go into demand. But the cover A and cover B will probably be the only things available. We'll take everything else out of there. That way it's just more of the books, and because I'll print just a few more stickers than what's needed, and just a few more patches than what's needed. But Yeah. So the stretch goals are only available to people that back during the campaign. After that, all that other stuff's turned off.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's play this trailer once more here.
A group of heroes supercharged with Nephilim DNA are the only thing standing in the way of an evil corporation at the center of a human trafficking ring and elite drug empire. The danger ramps up when a deadly trap is set for our protagonist. It's an epic clash of good versus evil when they meet on the killing field. Be sure to check out the action and get part 1 of the killing field during this 28-day event exclusively on Indiegogo.
Cool deal.
Yeah.
Cool deal. I am going to give you the floor. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Yeah, sure. Really easy way to do that is to go to LukeStoneStudios.com. That's LukeStoneStudios.com. And on there, you can find my links to Twitter, to Facebook, to Instagram. Or if you're on one of those platforms, all you have to do is type in @LukeStoneStudios, and you'll be able to find me. I'm under that on all the major platforms, including Minds, and I think even MeWe. So we're on all of those.
Right.
Yep.
Now, out of curiosity, have you built a good following from Minds, or have you just recently joined?
I recently joined on Minds, but I'm starting to get a pretty decent following over there. I try to remember to post as often as I can, but still, I don't even do the Instagram thing as well as I should. But
yeah, I'm on a lot of social media, but I'm only putting my focus in on just a few big ones. It's hard to manage all this, and
it really is, yeah.
Promote on all the different platforms. Even though Facebook owns Instagram, and there's some interoperability to where you can. Welcome, Kino Subway. Hey, hello, everyone.
What's up?
Back it if you haven't. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. Even though Facebook and Instagram now have kind of an interoperability where you can share the same posting to both platforms, because they're different, and Instagram is image-based. And it doesn't support including links.
Yeah. Hail Jerry.
Welcome, Jerry Unbound. Hail. It's kind of a pain in my experience.
Yeah, I don't like that I can't link things in there, and it's I don't know. This is hard to teach this old dog new tricks, I guess.
Well, I mean, there seem to be all kinds of fancy features you can use from within Instagram that allows you to incorporate things like links. But if you try to just do it straight out from a post from like the Facebook business, it's such a pain in the rear. I mean, Facebook itself supports links and text and adding images, but Instagram wants images. They don't.
Yeah.
They'll accept some text, but they won't accept links. So, it's just like a juggling act sometimes. But, yeah. Good looking project. Hope to have you on in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. It's fun to hang out and talk about comics. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Oh, yeah. It's been a blast. You can find me at you have to say link in bio.
Oh,
that's a good point.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, right now it's a little more challenging for me because what is it called that I'm using now? I've got this thing where you basically have all your social media compiled. Oh, it's called a FlowPage, flow.page.
Oh, okay.
and it's got my links to all my social media right now.
Yeah, I kind of use my I kind of use my website for that.
Yeah, I'm not good at developing websites, so I have to work on that. So I don't have I got the URL, but I'm not really making much use of it. So it's counterproductive right now. So yeah. So I think I got in Instagram my FlowPage instead of my YouTube channel. I don't know. Maybe I have both. I have to go look again. But that's a very good point. Put link in bio. I mean, the other thing about it is, right now I'm not really a creator. I'm more a promoter. Well, I'm sort of a creator, but I'm an indie comics CG promoter. So if I'm advertising that I'm starting a live stream, saying link in bio isn't really gonna.
Yeah. I have a YouTube, got a little over 100 subscribers, I think. I'll do live draws from there, or I'll do quick draw stuff. I like to go on people's shows, and especially even if I'm not promoting anything, I like going on people's shows and just chatting and talking.
Oh yeah.
And helping other people promote. But I feel like, for me, and this isn't the case for everybody, but for me, I can't be 100% a personality or promoter and also be a creator the way that I am because of lack of time. Like, I need to focus on one or the other. And so I try to focus on creating, I mean, live streaming and promoting, that stuff takes so much time,
It does.
And I appreciate the work that all of those who have a passion for doing that put it in there, and they do it for people and really help them move the needle for their career a lot. But I feel like, I also need to be making stuff for those people to promote. And so I'm trying to make stuff for people to promote. And so I have a tendency to kind of go between, I'm on shows and then I'm not on shows for a while. Like Luke, where's he been, And, but when I come out, when I peek out from the cave, I'm like, hey guys, look what I made here. I kind of feel like that's kind of my calling, just to peek out every few months and present the world with some new content. There has to be content creators, right? We can't talk about indie comic books in Comicsgate if we're not making any comic books in Comicsgate, right?
That is a fact. Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing about hybrids, and I was wanting to back it. I think I dropped the ball though, and ultimately missed my opportunity. So I got to take advantage of this this campaign, since you made the earlier issues available, which is really good and which I'm really thankful for.
Well, the idea, and I have Rob Anderson to thank for this. He's awesome. He's always reminded me. He goes, you're not really opening that up for new readers. He goes, you got to make sure that there's something there for somebody that this is their first time encountering hybrids to be able to get on board. And I hear that from him. I hear that from Travis. Travis Gibb. They both are constant reminders of that. And so Rob probably more so than anybody. He's like, look, there's new readers out there. Got to welcome them in. And so I always kind of look through that lens. It's like, well, what do we, how do we make it available for? So every campaign I'll ever run for an arc will always have a way to start it at the starting point. They can go back to the starting line with us and get caught up. So I'll always make sure that that's available.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really key, because some people will come in on your campaign late, and that's why I like In Demand so much with Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I first got into Comicsgate, it was September, October 2019.
Okay.
And it was a time where, it was just starting to ramp up, and there were a few creators that were starting to build a name for themselves. But then I would browse Indiegogo, checking for other campaigns, and I'd see so much, so much talent out there. People who had these campaigns and beautiful art and interesting looking stories, yet they weren't getting funded. And it kind of freaked me out that this talent was not being supported. And it was pretty much right then and there that I decided I'm going to make an effort to start promoting campaigns and see if I can help get some backers behind them, more eyeballs on them. And that's why I dedicated half my channel to exclusively that. Of course, it's proving to be very time consuming. And,
Yeah.
I do that more than I do the other half, which is my Fandom Menace content and my gaming. But, it's well worth it because I like to see things get funded.
Yeah.
And it's real exciting.
And when you do start, creating and have your own books out there, it's definitely going to give you a leg up, So you're already going to have that promotion in place for yourself. So it's going to be very, very nice. But I appreciate what you do. I'm sure every other creator does as well, because it's so hard to be, sometimes it feels like you're that one person screaming into the wilderness, buy my book. Yeah. Like you're
Right.
screaming it out there and people aren't hearing you. And
Right.
it's nice to have somebody else come alongside and help.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think so. I think we have an amazing community, and there's so many people, they just want to help others and watch them succeed and help them succeed. And because the more I can promote other creators and help them achieve their dreams, the more they'll be able to pursue their IPs and, make them continuing stories.
Yeah.
It's all about the funding and getting eyeballs on it and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. That's part of what we try to do. Even we try to pass on some of that knowledge that we've got and the experience that we've got with Terraform to new creators. So if there's a new creator out there, we do our part to try to help lift them up along with it. A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes. Sharing knowledge is another huge part of the community. Freely sharing what works and what doesn't to try and minimize the mistakes that are made on previous campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
That said, definitely been a joy to have you on the channel. You can find me in the usual haunts, MeWe, Facebook, YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment, Twitch under WyzGyz Twitches, Twitter under WyzGyz Tweets. If it ever comes back, WyzGyzParlers on Parler. And please like, comment, subscribe, mark the bell for notifications, indicate all notifications, so hopefully you don't miss a single video or stream.
Get it all in there.
Drop some comments down below this video. Let us know what you're most excited about on Hybrids, the Killing Field Part 1. Thank you to everyone in chat. You guys are so freaking awesome. Can't do it without you. Thanks for your continued support. Love you all. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks to our very special guest, Luke Stone.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
My pleasure. Likewise. Let's close this out, shall we? Bye.
See ya.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube translation. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.